if I happen to offend my political connects, understand I have no time to be politically correct. I speak it from my soul, so let my thoughts reflect the passion in my voice, be poetically correct.
I mean, not the light bill, but you save on the heat bill.
Yeah, I want to save on the heat bill. How should I start this show with a little, hold on. Hey, hold on, let me get that. Let me get the music, let me get the headphones right.
Yeah.
The volume right.
Yeah.
Can you turn my headphones up?
Shout out to B.I.G.
Biggie. This how we coming into it, cause feeling juicy.
Yes.
Wait a minute, did I play this instrumental before?
No, man.
I don't think so.
One of the most inspirational instrumentals of all time, man. Shout out to the original track, Juicy Fruit.
Yes. And this is poetically correct.
Yeah.
We just waiting around. Are y'all awake?
Yeah, I was vibing.
I'm
Are y'all out here?
You awake?
Yes.
We got the.
What's the temperature like in the room?
We got the team in the building. You know, we holding down events out here. You know, we performing at open mic slams and
Right. Coming through with the crew.
podcasting. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We might have a little poetry freestyle at the end of the show. We got topics.
Yes, we have a lot of topics. But you are watching Poetically Correct.
Yes.
If you're on YouTube, subscribe wherever it is down there, up here, whatever. If you're on SoundCloud, wherever you may be listening to, subscribe. Give us some feedback so we know what we're doing, you know, if it's popping or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Give us some.
Please always comment.
For sure.
And definitely give us that 5-star wherever you're listening to a podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't care if you
Or
don't like
leave
it
a
or not.
comment.
You're going to leave that 5-star.
Yeah, you gonna leave.
Notice I didn't say rate. I said leave that 5-star.
Yeah,
Because we already know you're loving it.
exactly. And you are.
Oh, I probably should introduce
Yeah,
myself.
like I think it'd be nice if you introduce yourself.
So I'm Mariah. I also go by Pyro and Beyond Your Definition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm excited to be here.
Hey, my name is Rome DiCarlo. I am a co-host.
I feel like you could have said I am a black man. I am like it could have been.
I was just gonna say I am.
I am.
My name is Rome DiCarlo, and I am.
And that's it.
You
That's
finished
it.
the rest.
That's it. Drop the mic. And I am poetically Poeticlee. Man, yo, hold on. Let's stop this right.
What's up?
What's good?
What's good?
Hey, look, real quick.
I feel like I seen y'all in a while, man.
I know.
In terms of on the set.
Every time I do see y'all, even though we hung out a little bit late last night, that's why I had to make sure y'all good, y'all wide awake and y'all rolling.
Yeah. We got the sleep out.
Because Rome was getting a little sleepy on us.
I was out yesterday.
was done.
y'all.
He was.
Just so
Once
y'all
you
know.
start-
He
once you
checked
start
out. Like we
doing-
saw his face, like just
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were
he
done.
was just
Yeah.
sleepwalking.
You pushed as long as you
Mind
could.
you, I'm the oldest person here, so you know I'm a little further along in the.
We'll
in the
let you play
process
that
of,
card. We'll let you.
You know
play
what I'm
that card.
saying?
It's not a card you really want to play.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, nah, it is.
Young at heart, a little sleepy though.
Nah, I'm
Hey,
playing. You ain't that.
season though.
Season?
Yeah.
Is that what we're gonna say?
Hey, you know, you gotta think. Friday night we had an event and we was out late, and then we came back. So
Wrong.
then I
You're
woke
not-
up. And then you know we had class on Saturday, and then we had a full
Okay.
day schedule.
A word?
And I ain't had no,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? I had no nap situation in between, you know.
That's fair.
Okay, it was a long night. It was
So-
a long
back
night.
to back is
Long
what
day.
you're
Yeah.
saying. Back to back.
Back to back.
Hey.
Back to back.
Hey.
But quickly.
Except we write our lyrics. Go ahead.
Oh man.
Oh.
Why you be doing that? Why you be doing that? But before we get into the show and
Do I
really
have
get
to?
heavy into things, shout out to you for inviting us to be a part of such a great event
Yes.
last night.
Yes.
Deltas, Sigma, Thetas, what open night?
It was the
talent?
Union County chapter of
Union Cross.
DST. He kept mispronouncing the name and saying Union Crossing. We're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Poetically, what are you talking about? But they had like a little show for the community. They teamed up with like the town hall there, used the new space they have in Union County, and you know, shout out to the hometown. So they had a good little turnout, and put on something for the people. I
Yeah.
appreciate y'all coming out. It meant a lot. And
Absolutely.
they absolutely loved it. You know, Poetically tried to like hit on some of the cougars. It was
He went
a
for
show.
it.
He talked, his poem was about how he saw somebody had a ring on, but he was still like, next time you want to see my smile, let me know.
I was looking at people in the crowd. All the women was just
right,
looking
like, ooh, I'm a divorcee. Recent. How'd you know?
Well, have you ever has that ever
No,
happened to you?
never
It's
happened.
honestly never happened to me.
Really?
Some of the things that the debacles happen to you, I feel like we're like, no,
Ah,
never
come
happened.
on.
You got some great stories,
Hey,
man.
listeners, listeners, viewers, come on, somebody's definitely
Lee got some great stories.
approached a married person before.
Leave in the comments if you've.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone's approached someone who may have been with
That's what I'm
someone
saying.
else because you just don't have
No,
like
no,
a
we're
sign.
talking about married.
But married, no.
Yeah, I've never.
That's-
Have
I've
you
never-
ever messed with somebody who was married? No. Y'all don't count this. Okay, wow.
No.
I mean, I haven't. I mean,
I
but
cannot-
not knowingly.
No.
Lee, you
But
got
not knowingly.
You be having the
No.
the
These are
groupies
ventures.
No,
that
no,
be
not-
venturing out.
Were they married young? Because I'm just.
All right, so we like to start the shows with a nice
Wondering.
poetic virtue, and
Yes.
brought to you by Rome,
Yes.
a virtue that can get us through, and not in my business. Nah, you know I don't care.
Yeah. So we're gonna start the show off with a poetic virtue, something that can help in life, in art, and everything. Art is life, so it's all one thing. But this week, I want to talk about perseverance. Perseverance is so key. You got to push through, man. Sometimes life throws all types of curveballs at you, but you got to understand that everything on your path is you determine it. So you determine how you handle everything. You determine where you go. It's all up to you. So you don't have to. If you have a goal, you push through. You don't have to defer back to whatever your situation is trying to force you into. Perfect example last night with Poetic Lee. You know, he came through, he spit the poem, and then you know, if I'm not mistaken, like the words, you started freestyling with the words a little bit. It came back to you, even though you tried to defer it to me with the thing. But like, you know, the words, you know, he had to freestyle with the words, but then he came back later on and he came back through and he spit it the way that he wanted to, and it came out real dope. So sometimes you just gotta push through, you know what I mean? Sometimes whether it's with the job market or whether it's with art or whether with relationships or whatever it is, sometimes you just gotta overcome whatever those challenges are and understand those challenges make you better.
Man, you just provided a word as always. I feel like I needed this because my muscles are so sore. So I've been getting back in the gym, y'all.
Okay.
Trying to get this mind, body, soul flow going. So
Yeah.
doing something for my body, my mind, and my soul every day. But it's been an uphill battle just because I used to go to the gym so often. I was a gym rat, like to the point where I knew everybody there. I check in, they're like, "Hey, what's good?" Now nobody at the gym knows my name because I fell off hard.
Yeah.
With the holidays, you know, getting back into the fried food.
Yeah, it's always the holidays that really throw you off.
And then you like, I'm gonna just stay on vacation actually. So I'm getting back into it. I'm sore, but I'm persevering through, and I'm trying to just bring that same concept into other parts of my life too. I saw this thing earlier this morning where it was like success we expected to just be an arrow that's like straightforward, but real success is like, okay, it's going this way for a while, then you go down, you go back to a high, you go back to a low, and then eventually you get to that utmost like trajectory of where you want to be. But it's not just a straight, like, you know, just linear journey that you're going on. So there's ups and downs, and you just got to keep pushing through, even when it looks like grim and doesn't look so good, or when it's really easy, you still got to keep pushing. So
Right.
Yeah, you know, I think about perseverance right now, and you're talking about the things that you want to build on. That's one thing I'm trying to do with like my budget. You know, money. It's like money is like, we look at it like, we look at it like it's such a task. It could be such a burden to want to handle and put together. But it's something essential in building ourselves and keeping ourselves grounded in how we want to move, because it's the tool to help build the other things that we want in life. So that's like one of the things I'm persevering to make sure I stay on, you know, and pushing through, you know, not trying to lack and get down, even though you may slip and fall.
And you know what's
Right.
awesome
Yeah.
though? Like even when we talk about the budget and stuff like that, when you do that and you push, like that feeling, that reward that you feel, that satisfaction you feel when you realize, oh snap, I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
such a great feeling, rewarding feeling, versus usually whatever it is where you're not doing that.
And
you
that
know what I'm saying?
reward comes with come pushing through the perseverance. Now, you're talking about performing. We are artists.
Yes.
right.
The last time I asked you, when you hit a stage and you lost your, you know, you went up there, you had so much confidence, you went up there and you kind of lost it a little bit.
Mhm.
When you went up there and you hit that stage and you had the first, like you're doing a set, right?
Uh-huh.
And the first poem, you bomb.
Okay.
Mm.
How did you? Because you have that second. You're doing the set now. You're not just doing one and you're one and done. You have another one getting ready to come after. How did you like find that that flow to bounce back to
At
get that
that
second.
point, it's like, okay, if you've already, for me, it's like all you can do is go up from here.
Okay.
So it's like if the first thing you produce is trash,
Yeah.
like,
But
all right, so all you can do is get better.
The crowd is looking at you like, so how do you get the crowd wrapped into you?
At that point, I'm just gonna go all out and just try to put as much as I can into the next piece. Just it's like, oh well, that was bad, but
Okay.
let me try to like just get them back with this next piece. And I almost feel more comfortable when I mess up. It's
Really?
it's strange, but I guess like when I mess up, it's just again like all I can do is build. Like now that their bar is set this low, let me like jump to this new height, and they're not going to be expecting this. But I definitely think that does happen where nerves or whatever it might be gets the best of you in that first word. Maybe your voice cracks, maybe you forget a line or something. But then once you start to pick up the pace, it's almost like I don't know, just building momentum.
Yeah.
So you can just get faster and faster, and then by the time you're crescendoing and doing your final piece, it's at your very, very best. So sometimes that mess up in the beginning even shakes off some of my nerves because I'm like, okay, the worst thing that I thought could happen already happened. So let's just go.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a dope way of looking at it. For me, I would say maybe even kind of if it was like an obvious thing where everybody know, maybe I acknowledge that. All right, so last time blah blah blah, but this time I'm coming in this bag, blah blah blah. So I'm getting everybody, okay, we acknowledge it. So now I'm gonna do this. So now it's like starting fresh. Because sometimes I feel like if you don't acknowledge it, you just try to go back, people are just carrying whatever preconceived. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
just kind of owning it.
Yeah, just kind of owning it.
Man, you gotta own it. You gotta own it.
Yeah.
I feel like you know what? I'm the type where you gotta like crack some jokes.
Yeah.
You know
Lighten
what
the mood.
You
Yeah.
gotta
You
lighten
know
the
what
mood.
this reminds me of? Like last night, so a place that we used to go to like to hookah and like they would have open mics and stuff actually recently closed. And so we would last night when we were sitting and talking, we were just watching like it was a predominantly like black space. So a lot of people of color were just walking up to the door and then they would just like look down like, oh man. And some of them would play off their mistake. Like they
That's
would
so
just try to
corny.
keep walking through. And then some of them kind of owned it and just looked like and were like, okay, what's our next plan? So you kind of have two choices to do in that
What made
mess
it so funny was they would walk by the spot and you know what I'm saying, look back like, I guess it ain't there. Then they're gonna try to walk to the bakery to go in
and
there.
they were dressed. Imagine being dressed for a
Yo,
hookah
I be
bar,
heated,
y'all,
yo,
and then trying to play off like, oh, I just wanted to get some baked goods whole time.
Yeah, come on now, come on.
You wearing this leather
see
jacket.
You, yeah,
I know
I
you
see
didn't
you in
come
Bay.
just
Y'all came
to
in y'all
get in
fresh.
Claire.
You know what I'm saying? Man, had the fresh Timbs. The no scuffs on the Timbs. She had like you say, had the leather jacket on. She came with the high heels, looking fresh and nice and ready to go.
It's interesting though because there's certain situations where I feel like I sometimes will fall to that default of playing it off, and then other ones where it's like, okay, I'm gonna own this, and you just kind of have to be able to feel when it's the right moment for both.
Because I already told you, I'm in the mall walking. I see that director. I don't necessarily know what the store is inside, but I'm not about to stop and look at the directory. So you kind of walk by it and you do a slow stroll and you look at the directory, kind of like peek at it. You know what I'm saying? See what the directory talking about real quick. You try to look, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of play it cool. I see the store. I see the store. Now, if you miss that, because you got about, if you time it right,
I see him
you have
doing
about
this.
you have about 8 seconds, and within that 8 seconds, you have the time to find your store in that. If you miss it now, typically what you can do is the directory probably about 100 feet away. You can go to the next directory, or you can just do a quick spin around, like walk back in the store, for like a hot minute, come right back out. You got another 8 seconds.
He might
But
never.
see, there's a better way you can
find-
play this though, bro.
What's that?
You can stop at the directory.
You can stop at the directory.
You could find a young lady who's walking by, preferably somebody who's kind of in your type range. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you say, "Excuse me,
Your type range.
I'm having trouble finding this place. Do you have any insight on where I can find this location?" You know what I'm
Game
saying?
by Rome.
And then she can guide you. And based off of the vibes that kind of happen in that moment, you can either continue or end and go about your way. But you open the possibility.
You have a third
new
option
relationships.
too. You have a third option.
Uh-oh.
So you could go to another store and you could say, because they work there, they know them all very well.
True.
Hey, where's Rue 21? I'm looking to get a new shirt.
Oh, and then
I know
they might
that's
be
where-
like,
I know that's where you were trying to go the whole time. But
but what if they
first
tell
of all,
you,
but-
you don't have to go to Route 21. You can shop here. And be like, well, I don't know. You guys' prices, man.
true. So when your mistake leads to something else.
Yeah, I'm not about to go to, but hold on.
With
hold on.
that-
Like,
bringing
like
this
going
to
to a
the
whole
art,
other
though.
store.
I'm not. But go to another. Y'all doing
It could
too
be
much.
iffy. It could be iffy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just look. I bet
You're
that-
welcome
I have
already, though.
Speaking of art, though, I have gone to another store and be like, "Hey, I hear y'all playing music in here. How do I go about getting my music played in here?"
Wow.
Sometimes
Oh,
they be like,
wow,
"Hand me a
okay.
CD."
Really?
Yeah, sometimes they be like, "Hand me a
Stop
CD."
playing.
That happened at the van store, and I don't know if I can say this, but like in
we
Concord
can say
Mills. Yeah,
Okay.
they were like, "Yeah, I'll
Did
give
you
it to my
ever
manager."
go in there and like later hear the
It was from my friend. Me and my friend went in there. He had the music, so he was
Okay.
like, "Come back. I'll give it to my. Come back with CD. I'll give it to my manager and see." So you don't never know how it's gonna follow up, but
right?
he was open to it.
That's interesting though to have it playing in the store. Like that is a great way to get your music out there that I think is out of the box. I don't really think about
Because
that.
I don't really know how much control, but I've gone to certain stores and they listen to like albums, so
Right.
it's not just like Spotify or something.
No, there's a lot of them that really do change out the music pretty frequently. So maybe that could be some game that some artists out there can try.
Have y'all ever been to a store where they playing like poetry or?
Honestly, no.
I mean, but once again, it goes back to how we inserted ourselves.
Mhm.
To put
Right.
that, you
If
know what I'm
someone
saying?
approached them, they might be open to doing it. I just have never experienced it, but it doesn't mean it's not possible.
Man, I would definitely go spit.
Yeah.
Like,
And so many people have audio, like albums of their poetry and stuff too. So.
yeah.
And if you think about it, because like I've been in like skate shops to go get shoes, and they'll have like the you know how the skateboard videos where people are just doing tricks on a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff with the
Mhm.
music playing. They'll just be playing the audio from those videos, or you go to
Yeah.
certain stores, you get certain vibes. Maybe there's a place for that. I never thought about it.
Right.
Yeah, and I would just, I want to go somewhere and just spit like in the mall. Like,
Yeah.
spit for like an hour.
We had
Yeah.
talked a little bit about flash mobbing. I think that's like so much fun. Just when you get to like do a poem on the street
Okay.
or showing up in a random space where people don't expect to hear poetry or emceeing or whatever it is. And they're just taken like off guard. It's just interesting
Yeah.
to see people's reactions.
And that was one of the coolest things about being in LA that I saw is they had space where you could just get a performance permit and people were just out performing like in the middle of the outdoor
Yeah.
malls and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I feel like Charlotte should definitely like do that kind of thing too. You should be have space in the mall or at the outlet where people are just having little booths set up where they can perform at. I think that would be real dope for the city if they did. If they embrace
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh, speaking of performing,
Okay.
drum roll.
Da- da- da-
The young Pyro here gave us some homework, right? So
This
we
is
all
true.
we all were tasked to perform in a different crowd that we normally wouldn't be performing in front
Right.
of. But who knows? After this, after this, we may be performing in those crowds.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is like homework to the listeners too. Like, and the whole thing was based upon writing for a different type of crowd than you normally would write for, and we kind of assigned ourselves something different. I think if you're listening, I would ask somebody else. That's what we had to do. You know,
Yeah.
we gave each other something a little different because in your head you like, oh, you subconsciously give yourself something that you already know you can do.
Right.
That's true.
So it's good. Who trying to go first?
I forgot to write mine. I didn't do my homework. But in my defense,
But in your defense, what?
I've been like this my whole school career.
So you about to freestyle this?
I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got you. Since you want to freestyle, man.
We got a beat for it too?
Since you
So
wanna
in
freestyle.
in true fashion, Rum decided to own his mistakes, and I'm gonna just play him off.
Oh my! Wait a minute! What's going on here? Wait a minute! What's going on here? No
it's
one.
not-
no
okay,
one
this
did
is
that.
how I used to do it. No, this is how I used to go with my.
No one did their homework.
So I'm not gonna say I didn't do my homework.
Lauren,
I thought
Lauren's been writing a poem though.
Lauren, what's,
I thought about
one
the
did their
homework 2 days in advance. So I
mind
didn't
you-
necessarily
mind you, she's the one
write
that
down the
text
homework.
us.
But you know how you just say a poem in your head and come up with some lines?
Yeah.
I did do that.
Okay.
So-
Can I call Lauren off the bench and have her come in the game? Because she's writing a poem right now. Maybe she could spit.
Mind you, you're the one that texted us about having the homework. Don't forget, guys, to have your homework.
I did.
I think our
And I started-
lovely production assistant, low key / superstar,
It's going
is gonna come in
to do
and
your homework.
and,
no,
and she's gonna come in
No.
off the bench.
No.
But she can though.
No, this is for
We
you.
She got
honestly,
heat right
we
there.
just have to freestyle it.
Y'all about to freestyle
We've done
it.
this to ourselves.
And I'm about to pull up. We got a little sound effects we about to have with it.
But
Because I came prepared.
But since you're the star student, do you want to go first?
No, that's not how it works.
Oh, he really wants to like rub our noses in it and like
Yeah.
show. Okay.
Yes.
We have no one
It
to
doesn't, have
blame
to
but
be, it
ourselves.
doesn't have to be long.
Okay.
It could be like your
I mean, I have thought of some lines. I truly
yeah,
have.
it could be like
What's that? What's that joint about? What you writing over there?
He's trying to
it
cheat
about?
right now and copy someone else's homework.
Wait a minute.
I just want to know what the subject is.
No. All right. You know, do you remember your crowd was the trap?
Yes,
like
it was.
like
It
you
was.
like you had a you know what I'm saying, what kind of event would like just be the trap, you know what I'm saying?
I just pictured that I was B Rabbit in 8 Mile.
I can't even remember what my subject was.
Yours was an old folks home.
Oh.
So right now, they've just brought young Pyro to the stage. They think she about to spit bars, but she about to spit this poetry. Yeah.
All right.
A little nasty.
All right.
Yeah, everybody looks, dreads are shaking. They looking at the leather jacket. The 808
Lil
kick in.
Boosie's playing
Yeah.
silently.
They looking at you, what you got? Sipping my lean.
So I heard I was in a trap, something like a Venus fly trap. I think a lot of things die here. I'm a lot from the sunflowers and daisies and dandelions. Closest place I've been to the hood is in the middle of my sweatshirt, but I heard a lot of people get hurt around these parts. So I'm trying to learn about these parts so I can learn how to move around these parts. I heard niggas is sagging spelled backwards, so I'm gonna flip it on its head. When you play this poem backwards, I bet we'll all be dead because I killed this shit. And I'm done.
Fire emojis.
Okay.
Fire emojis.
Okay, that's okay.
Yo.
So even though you didn't come to study for the test, you came through. She was able to, guess.
And
You didn't study for the test, but you showed up to all the classes, so you just
Right.
remembered enough to get by.
Right.
You
Again, the playoff. But I do have like one piece that
What's up?
like it's my hood nigga piece that I
Okay.
can still
She said
do.
my hood nigga piece.
Like it's just like this was when I was an MC and like this was just like on a mean beat.
Okay.
So I could still do this part too.
Okay.
Okay.
If that's cool.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
do your thing.
Okay. Can I get like a slight little beat?
What you
Yeah.
you want the same beat?
Maybe something that's like a little more like
What you want?
peppy.
When sweet
A little
maple
bit more
brown
peppy.
boars turn into
All right.
empty
Just something.
Hennessy shots of a
Hold
hood
on,
nigga.
hold on, let me see if this is peppy. I mean, it's hold on.
It is true. The makings.
All right. We gonna make it work.
Nah, this thing, that's already
I was-
that's already another segment's beat.
All right. Maybe we started it off with the Biggie.
Oh, you want to go with that?
We could just go with
You wanna
that.
go with that? All right, hold on.
It's kind of like when I used to do this in school too. I'm gonna tell myself an old homework. I would just erase the date and the title, and if I forgot it, just write the new title and the new date. So it still looks like this math homework, but it's
Lynette?
old. I'll do this.
She's like, not really, but it'll work.
Call me Pyro Government Riot B. Usually don't do this, stick to poetry, but activism calls me to see what I can see. And Miss America, she ain't all see the shining sea, cause you might be dead tomorrow if your race start with a B. Cops still arresting niggas solely based on aesthetics. Wonder why our children couldn't walk straight in prosthetics. Take a trip in a young black boy's shoes, follow to a project hallway, one color in a compact space. Now is your vision getting deal? Is your vision getting clearer? Daughter wishing one day she could see past visions in a compact mirror. But what did you expect? Look at America's foundation. Brought us to a country they call us some but don't raise us. But they ain't racist. They ain't racist. That mean we on equal playing ground. But they run the world and we just planted all the grain. U.S. gained all they wealth from that triangle trade. And now I move that same shape to my third eye space. And through that spectacle, I see my brother still in chains. And we still picking cotton, except not hands on Hanes. Not me, I'm free, let go of worldly things. Pray to the God in me every time this crossed my brain. And I hope you get saved today. And the niggas in the trap swing my way. Okay, I'm done. I tried.
Let's go.
I tried. The beat didn't really match, but
you
we
No,
made it
you-
work.
you rocked
We
it,
made it
man.
work.
You rocked it, man.
You floated.
Yeah. Sheesh.
I tried.
Young Rome.
Yeah.
I think if you remember, you were
The old
Old
folks, home. So it's like,
Is this gonna be this?
this. You are in the
old
Oh.
folks
You
home.
were, yeah.
So she gonna beat, but the rapper get the
But
get the,
also, that was
get the
how the
sound
hood-
effect, the
that was how-
ambient.
Yeah. You're doing poetry.
Why does
Poetry
this
night.
really sound like a...
Yeah, so I think I'm getting older. I brush the dirt off my shoulder. I'm lifting up on these boulders, ripping for the culture, feeling I'm getting bolder. See, as I get fine with time, I'm like wine. So don't rewind, just move forward and expand your mind. You got to understand a new life is coming. So when this life ends, we going much higher. This ain't a place for you to retire. It's a place for you to discover a new fire. And then you strive for more. Understand, we here for each other, and that's much more in store. That's the way we got to go about these things when we reach new heights. Understand a new life, a new light. That's what I'm about on this mic. Yeah.
Can you give me my medicine?
Right. I was gonna be petty and do an old woman voice, but I wasn't gonna be shady.
That's what I'm here for.
Oh no.
The Aries.
This isn't a place for you
But
to
why
retire.
why did that
This ain't a
sound
place for you to retire. It's a
like
place
a
to
hospital?
discover a new fire.
That really sounded like a hospital a little bit too, though.
It was a hospital.
What if he went to like an upscale like retirement villa? We know where Benny's going to end up.
Benny, I feel
Right.
like
What you mean?
I
You
can't
putting
see.
the
I can't see
hospital-
Benny. Benny wouldn't settle for a retirement home though. It would have to be one of like them nice joints in California with the.
I feel like he's one of those that would just be like, I'm gonna stay in my house all my life.
I ain't having no.
all my life I had to
It,
fight.
it depends what Bay got me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, your kids got you.
Right.
Your kids might. Your kids might have
That's how
both of
he
y'all
treated his
like.
kids low key.
That's why
Yeah.
you have the bag, so you don't have to worry about the kids.
They might have
trying to
y'all
shoot
in the
you
guest
somewhere.
house, like, and they got.
They
the-
might-
I'm good. I'm gonna be.
He's
in the
resistant to
hills.
it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the hills,
You gonna be in the
tucked
hills?
away in my robe, in my slippers,
In
Yeah.
the,
with
in
my
the,
pipe hanging out my mouth.
in the O of the of the Hollywood sign, like
Yeah.
just sitting there like.
Bring me my green tea. Yes. Hey, y'all hear about Stan Lee and him at 90 years old being sued because he's sexual harassment in the nursing home?
Stanley.
Stan Lee.
Oh, Stan Lee.
I
Stan
thought you were
Lee.
calling him
Wow.
Stanley too.
No,
I was
Stan
like,
Lee. Stan Lee. But he's so old. Actually, let's hold and pause that.
We
That
gotta
just came
hold that
out?
because I have thoughts.
I'm mad that just came out right
You
before
have
Black
thoughts?
Panther came out too.
Right.
I think that's weird.
Huh?
I'm mad that came out just before Black
Oh,
Panther
they ain't
gets
got
released.
nothing to do with Black Panther. I
I
mean,
mean,
I know
they did that with Birth of
No,
the
but I'm
Nation.
saying that can't. Nah.
Okay,
Black
but
people don't-
but
we
also
don't care about Stan
we
Lee.
gonna get because I have some comments on this because people say the same thing about like Cosby, like right when he was trying to buy
Mhm.
the network is when all his information came out. But regardless, why is there dirt to come out?
Yeah,
Why
but that's always.
you have a history of treating women this way
Yeah.
that you can lose every. Yes, people are trying to undermine you from making your power moves. There's definitely an intention behind that, but I can't say, oh well, they're trying to take everything from you when the facts are still there and it's still true.
Okay, well, hold your thoughts. God, leave Mariah. You about to spill all the segment.
Let me not
It's
spill all the tea.
Yes.
It's too hot.
Yes.
Let me cool it. I'm gonna blow it off first.
All right.
So we got to hear. What was your
I
challenge? Again,
was
Ben?
at a voting rally.
Okay.
Firing
so
up
do you
the
have
people.
some? Do you have some
Hoorah!
recordings of like a Trump rally or something to
Oh,
play
man,
in the
would've
background?
that would have been amazing.
We
That
can.
would be-
We can.
My
try to-
African American friend. Yo, that would be amazing.
Make
if I had
America-
that. I actually do have I don't have a rally, but let's see what I have here.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, it
That
works.
works.
It works. All right.
This feels more like yes, I can. Okay.
I see if I had a Obama.
Right.
If I could do his voice, then I would do that. All right.
Obama, I'm here today to address the public. Michelle, Malia, Sasha, Bo, we're running for re-election.
Yo, you
Third
whack.
terms.
You whack. All right. All right. Is this government for the people or by the people and sell our rights? Oh, because that monetary gain must be more vital than the moral aim of equality of survival through economics ecosystem, which are so tonic. So today, let's not say what we don't like, but like clay formed to build a moral site. Let's be right, brother, and take flight. Cause this isn't for you. This is for your daughter, your son, nieces, and anyone coming behind us. Cause this is the foundation we lay will be for the. Cause the foundation we lay will be the consequences they will have to pay. I F that up. But
Woo!
that was that. I
Michelle,
fired up the people.
This is the part where we snap.
Yeah, I fired up the people from so much. That was you gave us a topic to write about, and that was.
I
that.
felt it.
I did it right before y'all came.
Hey, okay. So
I still
But he had it, though.
yeah.
Right,
I
he
did
had
my
it, though.
homework right before I
He
got
did.
into the classroom.
all of us are.
The more
horrible
stories, we
students.
still hate homework. Years later, we still
Right.
haven't learned the lesson.
We're
of
gonna
homework.
do better. We're gonna do better.
Nah, try to do better. Yeah.
But I hope you guys can really get on your homework. And I honestly am going to try again because I did try to start this poem several times and other poems came out, but I didn't necessarily feel like it fit the theme. Like, it is hard to write.
You know what?
How often do you write?
I try to do a little bit every day,
Oh,
but it's
okay.
not like, it depends on how much time. Like one day it might be 10 minutes. Another day it might be 2 hours.
Okay.
So
What about you, Lee?
How often do I write?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's every day.
you
Oh,
see
okay.
these memes coming out. You know how often.
Yeah, true.
I
We
mean,
do
nah,
have.
that is.
You always got new stuff.
Nah, but I be just spitting in my head.
Okay,
But
that's real.
you know what I'm saying?
Like
Just-
thinking in poetry.
Yeah. Always.
I feel
It's
that.
always throughout the day. But hold on. All right, we're getting ready to go into our writer's block, right?
Right.
Can we talk about something? Can we spend a little time to talk about something?
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
you've been poking at it. You've been poking at it, and I feel like we need to have this discussion.
Which
now.
topic? Because I
Okay.
feel like I've been poking at a lot of stuff.
You've been talking about this young man right here,
Oh gosh.
and I think it's only right that we go ahead. A lot of people talk about him, and it's only right that we go ahead and talk about him and talk about the accusations that you bring up. Because
Yeah.
Oh man, my
hold on,
light
hold on,
skinned
hold on.
brother.
I'm gonna tell you what he had
My
to say.
light skinned brother.
Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me.
it's a
Don't
struggle.
pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me.
I mean, but this is what Mariah want to do, and he's trying to tell y'all.
I don't wanna die for them to miss me.
Yeah.
Yes, I see the thing.
But I'm not a hater.
Hold on,
like,
hold on.
I make sure that Northside eat.
Hold on. I didn't get to the hook. I only get to the hook. I'm gonna get to the hook. Just to let you know he's
I also
talking to you.
kind of wonder if
Talking
that
to
child
you.
is his.
Talking to
I've
you.
heard some
Oh, he's
rumors.
talking to you.
He's got a kid.
She said,
Maybe.
Do you
I can't get to the hook. Well, anyway, what are you saying?
No, go ahead. I thought you had a message for me from my friend.
Okay.
That's a little Uzi Vert song, just so y'all know.
Really?
Just listen to it.
Actually, okay.
See, the
let's-
defense is coming.
well,
Captain Save a Drake.
No. It wasn't Save a Drake. I was actually I had another song that I want to do for Sonically Correct.
Okay.
But I want to talk about him finding his getting into that pocket of the trendy sound now, and
Okay.
actually once again being able to murder a sound that really wasn't his.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, but we want to talk about the writing because as
Okay.
artists, we are a creative collective sometimes, and we build upon each other to create. And you have that for songwriters, you have that for all types of artists to come together
Visual,
to create.
yeah.
Yes. So with Aubrey
Graham.
young Meek Mill called him out to the stage far as his stuff not being written.
Right.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, okay, let's kind of stay on this. Let's like focus on this. What you really got going on? You really writing those bars? You know what I'm saying?"
Right.
And this comes a question because he does acknowledge the writers that he's always had in his notes, and that's the thing we don't do anymore. You know, it used to be a thing of you reading the
It
back of the
was,
thing
though.
and like see who produced this, who
You would
Uh-oh.
even unfold it.
who produced this, who did that, and I used to always like to read that, like because I used to love producing.
The back of it would sometimes be a poster too.
Yeah,
And
you,
could
oh
draw-
my!
I
Did
had
you ever
all
put the
of that,
posters
yeah.
up? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
They're still all over my childhood room.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And so I think a lot of the new generation, obviously with time, and I can't fault them because we've gone to this thing of streaming now.
Right,
where
you don't even get
CD
the CD,
Yeah, you don't
so
buy the CDs,
you don't
or
have a
you don't look
physical.
at the credits.
Right.
So a lot of people when they hear, oh, so and so did this for so and so. Well, if you read the credits, you would
And
know.
some parts of it are because like we're such an instant gratification. Like this isn't even millennials, but this is like Generation X after
Yeah.
us. They get it right away. And sometimes I feel like the artists put it out so quick that even all the credits aren't sometimes there.
Yeah.
Or they are, but it's just you have to dig deep to find it. Because it's like, okay, this information's out the moment we produced it. Like days later, we already put it out. So they don't have as much time
Yeah,
to,
a lot of
you know.
a lot of artists
all
go
those
through that.
details in there,
Right.
but-
But you obviously team. Did you really write that shit?
Right. I wouldn't say I'm like, so I definitely am a
Are you just playing?
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I might be the one light-skinned female that's like not trying to marry Drake.
Mm.
Like, I really do enjoy him. I love Degrassi. You know, the come up
Took it
with
back to
Drake, I
Degrassi.
enjoyed it. But he puts out music I can bop to. Like, I'm always down for a good bop. But pause on that. but also,
You saw the look in my eye.
I did.
You saw the look
I
in-
saw
He
him
was
like
gonna hold
shining.
back,
And
though.
I was like,
He was
no,
gonna hold
what we're
back.
not-
I was. I see. I'm doing
What
bad.
we're-
I thought about it too.
Oh man, a good
what we're
bop.
not gonna do
Oh, do tell us.
is right.
This is
right.
get juicy.
Oh man.
No.
Okay.
We won't be
We all like a
like
good
cropping
bop,
this
right?
and using this trying to.
Oh,
what
that's
we
gonna
won't
be a sound
do.
effect.
No, that
now.
won't.
That's gonna be a sound. I like a good bop. Doom, 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 doom.
So-
I like a good bop. All right, I'm childish.
But no, I just feel like I don't know, there's a different caliber and pedestal that I put artists on that produce all of their own things. And I don't even want to use the word produce because obviously beats and other things go into this, but who write their own lyrics. I'll just say it like that. I hold them to a different standard than those who don't. And there's still that overall artist. Give a prime example. I think Beyonce is amazing, but I'll never say that I could put Beyonce on the same caliber in my mind as someone like a Lauryn Hill, or somebody even like I would even say a Whitney, who has been writing most of their own music. I would have to look at more of the receipts with Whitney, but specifically like with Lauryn Hill, that's one of like my favorite artists of all time. And I understand that Beyonce is a whole franchise, and she still sells things in a way that if someone else was singing that very same song, they don't have the dance, they don't have the marketing ability.
Okay, so let me pause
to put it out there.
Let's
like
pause right there, because I don't want to focus on the man himself.
Right.
My whole focus was coming on talking about his artist. What makes okay? So let me ask, what makes a total artist? Because you're talking about all these different things that people can add on to
Right.
to what they can provide to you, far as entertainment.
Yeah, maybe
So-
we're talking about the difference between an
right,
entertainer and like an
a
artist
creator,
that-
because those are two different things
Yeah.
between entertainer and creator. And then so within the entertainer and creators, you have the artist, right?
Right.
A lot of people are great artists, but not really entertainer. A lot of people are still great artists, but they're
Right.
not a creator. But they're still an artist because art is performance.
Right.
You see?
And there's still
So-
a skill to doing that as well.
Yes. So what do you all think is a total artist?
Well, it's like
Or how do you classify your artist?
you know how some people, the phrase we don't really use anymore, but it was like triple threat. So like, you could dance, sing, and what was the third part of the threat?
You could dance, sing. Well, it depends. You could dance, sing, or act.
Right. Like those types of things. So it's like when you can do it all, I think it's just
Or
wow.
in our world, you could dance, sing, and write.
Right. So when you can do all three of those things, I think I just have like a more respect for you, or just more reverence for like your art yourself. And I'm just like, wow, taken back. When you can do one of those three things very well, you're still an amazing artist to me, but it's just, you're phenomenal if you can do all three of those things. And I don't know, that in my mind, that just being able to be creative enough to have the vision to write this down, then what to put with the dance with it, and then to be able to also deliver it in a specific way that people are able to receive it. But I definitely have some food for thought with what you're saying too, because even when you think about choreography, there's an artist who's creating that dance for that person to put together with the song and stuff that may have helped to deliver it. Even if the artist wrote that, they may not have been able to have as much success without that dance of that other person. But what I get nervous about is not accrediting that person. And I know you can buy the rights to, so obviously with Drake, he definitely bought the rights to that lyricist that shared that information with him. But it's just, what is really real anymore at that point? And like, do I really admire this artist, or do I admire another writer who I'm never going to know the name of? That's where it gets to be kind of a gray area for me.
So it creates that doubt in your mind about what you're hearing and where it's coming from. Okay, I mean, I totally understand that. I mean, based off of what Drake has said, the stuff that he had that has been provided to him is more like the swag songs and like the club songs. So when I hear him spit, I still feel like it's him. But when I hear stuff like God's playing, and I also wonder if he feels like now that it's come out, he has to take the onus to write more, because like because even like the joints off of nothing. If you're reading this, is too late that Quentin Miller did. The stuff now don't sound like that, and even people said More Life wasn't as dope as that stuff. So it's like, is he taking more onus, or is he still doing the same thing? Because that's the question I have.
Right.
So I don't, but he doesn't talk about it enough for us to know that. But when he spits, I still take it as him.
And it's almost, you're having me think about the perspective of, for our listeners and just for our own practice of like people who paint, people who write. I have heard from other poets that sometimes they'll have, I can't remember exactly what my friend called it, but I think it was like just a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
Like, so say there's a dope quote. For example, at the event we went to last night, the MC ended up actually quoting something that Benny had said in a poem. It's
Right.
like, say there was a quote that your grandmother used to say, and you open the poem with that, and then you go into doing your piece.
How
Or
do you-
even
yeah.
someone on the street said something to you, you heard it in another poem, and you took that line and created a new piece
Yeah.
off of that line.
How do you measure that?
They say, like, actually repeating something someone said is the biggest form of flattery, but is there something we're doing wrong with not giving the copyright? So I think it's just the way you do it, and it's something that I don't know the answer to. I'm just interested.
Would you accept someone writing for you?
No.
Not a full piece, but I do feel there's been times where maybe something sparked an inspiration, and I definitely repeated that phrase in the piece. You look at even like an album like Layla's Wisdom, and you hear like that piece that she did that had a lot of her lyrics alluding to Maya Angelou's poem. Like it's just kind of like if you do use a beat, or even a lot of MCs will recycle certain phrases that were famous hip hop lyrics, but then they make it their own song. And I'm can see this happening with visual artists too. It's like you see something like Starry Night or whatever it might be, and you recreate it in your own vision. So you use the same kind of stylistic stuff, but you maybe add some other component to the picture or the painting. So it definitely happens, and I feel like you're paying homage in a way to that person. But I don't know, like I guess thinking about it, I do kind of do that too.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing we get so hyper on, is understand the artist and what classifies as an artist, because you know, like, and just like in the same world with poetry, it's fun now to, I say fun, maybe not the right word, but it's fun to me because I get to expose people to different what poetry is, the difference of poetry, right? Because people they had this one mindset of what poetry could be. Then there's a difference of spoken word. Spoken word poetry are in two different lanes, you know.
Whether it's written or you're saying spoken word.
Right. You just spitting life theories, I like to call it.
Right.
You know, and then you have slam. You know, slam is totally different. And in my sense, I know you can probably have a piece that relates all through that, but how you slam though is going to be a little different than how you do.
Certain rules. Whereas with spoken word, I feel like it's a little bit more free. Like there's no time period. You don't need to worry about really how the audience is going to receive it. You're more focused on just what you want to say.
And then you have poetry reading.
Yeah.
Now I'm not a poetry reader goer, simply because I like more of the act. I like to see more of the soul. Now, people that still read can still be into the soul. We're all still the same family. I'm just saying it's just, you know, if I had a genre, you know.
I think my perspective on that's a little different. I know me. I go out of my way if I feel like I'm sounding like something I heard or reference to something. I go out of my way to change it to make it my own. The only time I reference it if I'm specifically like say if it's a writing session or whatever, you said something dope, I might kind of like you were saying, like I might take it and try to flip it. You know what I mean? Right. Or if I quote it, I'll even try to put the quote in there if I can. I'll be like, I remember Lee told me blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Right.
I won't just say. I know Drake has specifically said he tries to stay off social media because instead of, you know, how people posted little quotes and gems, he said I want to put those things in my music. So he'll take the gems that people just put on memes and stuff like that, and he'll put them in the songs and stuff like that. So I think that's a cool way of doing that, though. If you're going, whatever those ideas that hit you, you save them and use them in song. But if I'm referring back to it, I usually either try to reference it or I flip it in some type of way. Like just because I take it personal if I know I'm taking it from somebody else. But I know that that's all art is influenced by other things that you experience.
1000%.
It's just like almost like a reference, like, oh, works cited page real quick by Rome. You brought up something interesting when you were talking though about how you don't want to seem like a copy, but you want to kind of reproduce it and make it your own. So I think that comes up when trying to find your voice if you're a new artist. So for example, I knew like a new artist who really loved Jasmine Mans, a pretty famous poet, YouTube and everything. Shout out to her 'cause she's amazing. But they would watch a lot of her videos, and then when they started actually performing their poetry, they took on kind of her voice. And she has a raspy voice, a particular style, and almost seemed like a replica. But then as they really grew in their artistry, they started to come up with their own personality.
Nice.
So they had their own voice that they put behind it. So how would you give advice? I'm sure you've noticed this in the MC world too, where it's like, oh, I love, you know, Big Crit, then you start coming out sounding like.
But you know what? I'll be totally honest with you. You see, when I go to events, I listen to poets.
Yeah.
That's the only time I listen to poetry.
Okay.
That's the only time I listen to poetry.
So that's how you keep yourself.
Yeah, I can't listen. I love Rudy Francisco. I love Princess Powell. I love Jasmine.
Right.
I see them, but I stay.
Because you're just worried that it might.
Now music, I can listen to music because it's a different tone, it's a total different lane, and I know how I can flip it into how it could be poetry wise. You know what I'm saying? But poetry, man, you can listen to it. Sometimes when you're in your own lane, you can, you know what I'm saying? It's good to look at somebody else's lane, and you can flip it into your lane, but
the same lane.
Yeah, sometimes like, you gotta stay. You gotta just back away. You can look at it from a distance. You take a little small doses.
Right.
You know. That's for me.
Yeah, I have a friend when we were in school. Shout out to my boy Emmanuel. People used to say that his music always sounded like Kid Cudi. because of his style and the way that he did his voice and stuff like that. He was a huge Cudi fan. And
Right.
as he continued over the years since then, he started making his own beats and producing his own stuff and growing his sound. He could always rap. Like, he could always rap, but when he started coming up with new sound, it was really influenced by Kid Cudi because that was the new thing. And then he started to combine and come up with a new creative way of presenting that by listening to other types of music and just, come up with his own creativity. And he then created his own sound. So I think sometimes it's just it's the end goal. It's like however you start is how you start, but it's about growing and getting to whatever your voice is and your end goal. And I think, when I hear that, that's cool if you're growing and you get to that point, you know what I'm saying? So it's all love, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because even for me, like, early on, like people always say I sound like Common, but Common is not somebody I listen to for a sound, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's not even intentional.
Sometimes people kind of just project,
Yeah.
this is the similar thing that I can put you in a box
People
with.
say you sound like Common.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah, I don't get
vocally.
that.
I mean, yeah, it would be like, with my tone of my voice. Kind of
Oh,
thing.
you know what? When you
I
do
guess
that,
if
when
you
do
have
that
to
Queen
pick
piece, I can
someone
hear it a
in the
little.
industry, like I would probably say that'd be the closest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying though. You're saying sometimes you're not even intentionally trying to sound like that person. Is just an audience member may feel that you have a similar sound.
And they'll box you with that too, though. So that's where it can get annoying as an artist, as a performer.
Because you're trying to be unique.
And you're not even thinking about it like that.
Right. Now I can't do a rap about people shaking ass because I'm Common.
Yeah.
Nah, bump that. I'm gonna make this rap about you shaking your ass.
But how do y'all feel? Because some even like Jasmine Mans, or like they'll perform pieces where they heavily referencing other people's stuff or pop culture stuff, and that's like the whole theme of the piece.
Right.
And it's like sometimes I hear that and it feels like a little bit of a crutch to me because I'm hearing
you know what?
I'm not hearing a whole lot of new ideas.
Right there. I'm gonna pause
Are
right
you
there
thinking-
because let's critique.
Right.
Okay. For me, I think it's dope, right? But it also times your project. It times your piece and how you present it, right? I like to make timeless stuff. So I don't, if I like when you use a reference or somehow, that's the beauty of double entendres. Knowing how to work your
Right.
double entendre. So let's say if I just said like this, if I said if I say, dang, I can't think of them. My mind went blank. But just knowing how to use it, or let's, you know what? I just thought of something. Okay, let's say if I was saying, even leaning back, I'm all the way up with my morning cup of Joe.
Fat Joe references.
But that can last forever. Morning cup of Joe, even leaning back, I'm all the way up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that you still, so knowing how to use references, but
So it's like some people may not have gotten because honestly, I didn't pick up on I was still trying to figure out what the double entendre was.
You know what? I have a lot of stuff that.
No, yeah, it's like not everyone. I think
Yeah.
the big thing about doing those double entendres, what's great is when something has two different meanings, you may be able to get an audience member with one meaning and
then
another audience member
yeah,
with
yeah.
another, and maybe a third audience member that knows about both. But
Yeah.
it's just casting a broader net. So when these lines have maybe 4 different meanings, 5 different meanings, or even that
that's
double,
so fun.
you can
art.
can catch a lot more.
And you know who's
people
great
with
with
what
that?
you're saying.
Hydra is great at that. Shout out to Hydra. I have a question though, of how you feel about this, because I feel like I got pieces and I write them, and like where I wrote them, and when I had that idea, when I thought about it like that, I don't think that no more, or I don't feel that way no more. Do you go back and adjust pieces, or do you just go to where you're at that time when you perform them, or?
I think it depends on my mood. I have been one that will literally freestyle or tweak some other things. So even things that are like in my book, when I perform it, it's completely different than like what it was actually written down in the beginning.
Right.
Just because I changed it up. Give you an example. I had a piece called Alcoholics Anonymous, just kind of talking about being in love with a woman as if you were like drinking, and how, a relationship can be toxic. And it was at the end about whether I was addicted to this person or whether I was addicted to a substance. And I actually found out about Alcoholics Anonymous, how in the beginning they say, give me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to know the difference, and the wisdom to be able to tell the whatever it was. And so I said that at the beginning and kind of added that prayer to the beginning.
Yeah.
And then even added a line where I was saying, they don't make a rehab for you. and just added other things in that weren't in the original piece, but I felt enhanced it. And then kind of saw the audience's response and then said, okay, this is an addition that I'll put in there. And the ending, sometimes I'll change depending on if I need to cut it short or if I just see the audience is wanting more, then maybe make it a little lengthier and just add in some names of like certain types of alcohols, tying it in to body parts. So I think I do just kind of change things up depending on my feel. But it can be hard to go back and do a piece from 7 years ago at times because it's like, okay, I don't feel this.
Especially if you write mood stuff. Like I had one piece where it was about like you not being in a relationship anymore. I said, this is not that hold your hand love. This is that strung out on the last strand love, But I don't even, like, it's dope, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even do that joint anymore because you don't have the same feeling. Even as though it's like a dope piece.
You're just not in that headspace.
Yeah, it's like, you know where I'm at right now? I know this kind of strays away from your question. I'm in the fun place.
Okay.
I feel that too.
I'm in the fun place. Like, yo, let's just have some fun. I'm not into trying to, be honest with you, I want to, like, drop some gems. But I'm not even in that place where I want to be heavy on the being a conscious brother. Like, yo, we're gonna put our fist. No, not understand. I guess that's why I had to be careful the way I phrase it. It's not like I want to
be ignorant or whatever.
Yeah, be ignorant. It's just I just want to have, like, can we just have? I want to take us to a fun place. You got so much shit going on.
Yeah, just pure fun.
So much, it's
just an escape now.
An escape. Yeah,
just joy.
I definitely feel that. Sometimes you have to retire a piece. Maybe not altogether, but for a little bit of time. If it just, I'm a big one. Like we were talking about this in past episodes. If it doesn't feel right with your spirit and you can't, force it or it'll come across for the audience. So sometimes maybe you thought you were feeling this breakup poem, but you're just not even upset right now. You're feeling happy. So
I don't even care.
Go with something newer.
And honestly, that's Lee. That's for some people that's a criticism of spoken word and the whole scene. Is that it doesn't have enough of that stuff that's just for fun. You know what I mean? It can be so emotionally draining because there's so many serious topics and so many experiences that people attack in their poetry, because everybody writes for different reasons. And then I keep some people away. So you doing that and people doing that kind of thing too, I think that can add a new element to the scene that can make more people feel included. A lot of people just want to have fun and just kind of want to enjoy, and they don't always want to hear that. So
within having fun, one of the things that you brought up was we were talking about two different things and they flow together. How to make non-rhyming words rhyme, but then you also was bringing the idea, okay, selling yourself and your art, selling yourself and your art and how that delivery goes, right? So I want to pause on
this. This is actually perfect, like a perfect segue.
Right, so I want to pause on the non-rhyming part. Selling yourself and your art and how that delivery ties in, that content ties in to come out to the people. How do the people believe you? So
again, I'm so excited to be here for like the Writer's Block section. And so we're talking about selling yourself in your art. So this isn't as much about selling yourself. It's in the physical, like monetary sense, but the sense of making people believe what you're saying. And it's perfect because you're talking about what feelings you have, what emotions you have, and if it aligns with what your piece is talking about. The reason I really wanted to focus on this is because of slam culture. I've seen pieces where I used to see a piece that someone would perform with, and it was very emotionally charged. It was about actually just an assault that had happened. And she every time would like cry at the exact same moment in the piece, and then afterwards would go right back to like a smile. And it would just kind of seem like it was, I don't know if it was like an emotionally taxing thing or if it was more queued up to, okay, I need to be portraying this emotion at this particular time. And I see it a lot on the slam scene where it's like you feel like you need to be looking sad at this moment or looking like you're almost about to break down at this moment, but then afterwards you come right back out of character. And it's good to be able to get into your character, get into your bag and stuff, but you also want to have that authenticity so that the audience feels like what this person is saying is true. This is really like the essence of what they're feeling. But it could be time passed between when you're doing a piece. You could be not in that space anymore. So definitely just wanted to have that discussion about how do you, sell yourself, still keep that authenticity, but still, have the audience go on the journey with you and, relay your message you're trying to share. So if you're doing something that's meant to be a very happy piece, you definitely want to make sure you're smiling. You have the body language to sell that, as opposed to if you were doing like a very grim and a sad piece, you want to have the body language for that. And just check in with yourself to see about if you're up to doing this piece, or if you're maybe not in that space anymore. Maybe you want to put this piece on the back burner for a year. That's okay. Just because it's a piece that you knew was received well, you can test and try out some new stuff. So as this ever kind of come across with y'all of making sure you can make something believable, whether it's, making someone feel loved, making someone feel the pain that you were going through in your piece, how do you go about selling your piece or getting to where you can actually look someone in the eye and have them feel it?
Yeah.
Because I think that comes up a lot.
Yeah, and you know what? I love that whole concept, because I think it's not really a black and white answer to it. I think it's such a gray, and the reason I say it's gray because it ties actually into where you are, and you said where you want to be, like in the intent that you want to have with the message that you're putting out. You could have a sad piece that when you put it together and you wrote it, you were really you distraught. You were really going through it. Clouds are rainy, right? But then you got over it. And now you see there's resolution to the piece. So now you can bring that whole delivery into it. I was, at one point when you performed it, I was sad. But now that I'm performing it, I'm looking at it with some different clarity. And you're bringing that clarity. Now people, because like one joint I had was, when I first wrote it, it was so much passion into how I started. It was like, I thought I could forever be your man, like just coming off a heart like that. Then later on it became, I thought I could forever be your man.
So the meaning of the line even changed a little.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of more, it's more clarity to myself. Like, I'm figuring this out now. Even my tone, everything. Now the message stayed, the story stayed the same, but my understanding and my emotions changed based on where I'm at that point. Because I don't think, this is me, but I don't think what you wrote 5 years ago, you're going to have the same emotions 5 years later. You can still have the same passion, but I don't think you'll have the same, like somebody died in your life. The pain that you had right then is going to be a little different than the pain you have now. And the reason I'm saying that is not that you don't care. It's that you may be more at a peace. You've been able to, what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with a G. You've been able to grieve. Yeah. So now you have a little bit more.
G is for grieve.
I had to do. Yeah, but you have a little bit more something to bring to it than you would than when it was just pure pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
No, I definitely know where you're coming from with that, and that's so true. Sometimes you can take, like, a poem can take on a second life of even having another meaning, which is great. Why you brought that up, Rome, when you were talking about like how do you get back to being able to perform these pieces over time. So maybe it is just having that second underlying meaning as you grow. Yeah. This is still true to you, but it's just true in a different way now.
Right. That's how I was with Queen yesterday, you know what I mean? So I did a poem called Queen, and it's been out for like 2-3 years, and the meaning for, at one point it was when something goes from idealism to realism, you know what I mean? So it's a completely different conversation. It's completely different introduction. I think that's even what you're talking about, where at first you thought this could be a forever thing, and then you're looking back, you're like, I thought this could be a forever thing. Yeah. That's even part of the story that you lead into it with, because the old story might have been like, I just went through this. Now the new story is like, back then I went through this, but now I see blah, blah, blah. And there's more context around everything now. Yes. So I think that changes a lot. And
let's just pause real quick, because this one lady had a beautiful story. As Rome performed his piece named Queen, Yes. It brought this one lady back to a time where she knew 3 years ago that he didn't have that queen.
Oh, my God.
But she said, you know what? No. Let me stop. Rome said, now I have my queen. And this lady said, I've been waiting 3 years to meet this queen.
This is a true story, y'all.
So now you brightened her day, Rome, because she can now sleep at night knowing that you found that queen, Rome. Right. She could not sleep.
Shout out to Miss Susan.
Miss Susan been losing sleep. She knew you were such an incredible artist, a incredible young man, a young African American man here in America.
What a beautiful chocolate
Oh my God!
Yes. And you finally were able to find somebody up to your caliber, your queen.
Shout out to the Indian Trail Cultural Arts Center for holding us down.
She's just been so hurt that she saved the video. I don't understand. She saved the video in her phone of young Rome.
She showed it to us too, man. Yes. 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
It's crazy. Time just, you never know what's going to happen in life, man.
You don't.
Life comes at you fast.
Life comes at you fast, yo.
Yes.
Gotta be quicker than that.
Got to be quicker than that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we've been able to talk through this idea of, being able to still go back to those older pieces or just sell something maybe that you're not in the space to sell. Like maybe you decide, oh, I'm going to market this in a different way, or I'm going to have more context around this particular content.
But you raise a very interesting point, and I think sometimes it gets into some of the, you would have to be in the scene or into the poetry scene to know these things happen. But we talk about slam culture and, people when they're performing these pieces, is it still touching them on an emotional level, or is it just they're going there for the performance of it? Is that a bad thing or a good thing? Because actors do that, people,
right.
Performers do
you have
that.
to be able to tap into those emotions.
One thing I had to learn as a youngin', I did not like. Okay, so I was on 50 Cent's side when 50 and Rick Ross were going through it.
Of course you were.
I was on 50 Cent's side. Mainly because I didn't like the fact that, you've been rapping about a certain lifestyle and here you being called out. My problem with it, you're not talking about it. You're not talking about you being a CO. You know, and 50, I'm 50 been through that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was listening to the mixtape. I've been watching this story. I know 50 Cent, so I don't know 50 Cent, but I know his story and I know what he's been through. And here you come and now the blue light is out. And looking a little shaky. However, what my brother had to put on me is you got to understand this is entertainment.
Right.
So are you not being entertained? This is entertainment. So as artists, we're performing to entertain, but we want to uplift, we want to inspire, but it's entertainment.
Right.
So,
and that's why many of us sometimes even have alter egos. Poetically versus Benny.
So you can do different things.
Yeah, you can do different things. And I do think you just have to find where you fall on the spectrum if you're developing yourself as an artist. Maybe you're going to be that person that talks about the life that you wish you had, not in your real reality. Maybe you're that person who's talking about your actual reality. But as long as you understand what your purpose is and what your intent was with the piece.
Now, if your intent, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I was basically probably about to say what you're gonna say, but it's like you got to know why you're doing what you're doing,
right.
And what is it feeding in you too? Because it could be toxic for you. It's not even really about everybody else. But if you're doing this, if you're portraying a character that's unhealthy for you, that's something you got to search for yourself. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. There's certain pieces that I notice were a trigger for me in certain ways, and it's like every now and again I'll do that particular piece if I'm feeling it, but it's just I can't force myself to go there just because I feel like this is what I need. This is what the audience wants. You do have to check in with yourself and find out what's best for you to do right now.
And don't be corny out here giving off a different persona. Now, if you're telling a story and we know, you're doing that, whatever, but don't be trying to, talk about something in your art piece that you. What's the best way? Because every art is different. This is what I had to learn about the Rick Ross. This is what I'm giving you the Rick Ross story I had to learn about. And I know it's entertainment, but if you're telling a story, that's one thing. But if you're trying to act like you're this different type of person and you don't live to that,
that could get,
you know what I'm saying? Like if you're talking about how people, or let's put it like this, if you talking out there how people should live and king this and queen that and would be righteous and this and that, but you out here wilding, come on, fam.
Yeah, it's a disconnect.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to maybe that's how you wish you could live.
Your wishes. It's not on a wish list that you in your little shopping cart. Buy it.
It's an issue there though. It's some type of and that's why I say you got to check in with yourself, because not only just that, but if you're the guy who's talking about you getting all these girls, but it's like you know what I mean. If you're not, or if that's not who you are, but you're trying to portray that. I've been there too. I've been there back in the day. Like, you know what I mean. Single Rome, no girlfriend Rome, but
But you weren't speaking about anything that wasn't true.
But there would be times where it'd be an event where I needed to have something for women, so I would make up stories to suit that.
Right.
Oh man.
I did a remix to "You Got Me," and I made up a fictional girl to perform at a college thing.
There's nothing wrong with that.
He's just saying that because he's done that.
No. But I'm saying you made up a story as far as to. I had a situation that went on?
Yes.
It's okay. We don't fault you for that.
I'm just being real.
I got you.
That
That's
sometimes you have to manifest.
Okay, but see, that's one. But see,
I knew this chick who stayed up on Saks Fifth. I didn't know no chick on no Saks Fifth.
Damn. okay, but you know what? No. I'm battling with myself. I'm battling because I understand art, and I know
find a way to
No. I understand art. I'm playing devil's advocate with myself right now because I understand art, and I know how you write these fantasies, right?
Right.
So I don't. I don't doubt you on that because I don't fault you on that because
maybe
you're
it's
writing a fantasy.
Like,
yes.
look at the going back to Common, the song he has where he's talking about a woman, and then it turns out to be hip hop.
Oh, I
so
love
it's like
that. Yes.
you can kind of have some type of storytelling or personification.
Yeah, and I don't. You know what? I don't. No. I don't fault you on that, or I don't even knock you because you're writing you're telling a story.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything. Storytelling. We grow up off of it. Nothing's wrong with that. My whole thing is people that wanna. I guess if you're gonna talk about living a certain way or doing a certain way, and then
Ooh, okay,
and
you
then
got
not living up
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You
that's
got me
fair.
on. I'm sorry, I had to cross my leg for that.
Yeah.
But like, you have me thinking about a particular thing now too. So when people talk about storytelling within the poetry scene, so there was a particular competition that I had gone to years ago, and it was like a guy had done a piece about his brother being gay. And within that piece, he was like, every time you break your wrist, it hurts my family, and like different things, and like, you know, just doing different parts of the story talking about his brother. And people thought it was inappropriate for a straight cis man to be talking about trans issues or talking about
That's his
like
perspective.
but
I'm
like
sorry.
I don't know, like where does, you know, when you're living your life and you have other people who are a part of your story, but you're maybe telling their stories through your art, how do you do that still in a respectful way? And
I mean,
is there
we've talked about this though. Intent. Is your intent to down that person? Is your intent to disrespect them? If you're not disrespecting, see that right there is perspective, right? He's giving his perspective and his life views. Well, I think people like to say, and this is gonna connect. People like to say this is a very sensitive time that we're in. I don't think it's a sensitive time. I think it's a more vulnerable time. You see, there's a difference. We now I know more about Mariah because you have social media. You talk, right? I know more about Rome. You have social media. So when you have these different platforms, you can share more about your life. It gives me more ammunition to know more about you and to even criticize you more. So it's not that we're in a more sensitive time. It's just we know more.
Yeah.
And when people know, whereas in the 50s where you didn't really have to know much, you didn't have anything really be sensitive about. I mean, you had things to be sensitive about, but how much ammunition could you really shoot at somebody? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I post a picture with my bae, I'm always posting pictures of my bae.
Now somebody's clicking on your bae page and looking at her and she went to this school.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that happened with Kendrick. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go.
You remember the whole humble thing and the people criticizing his girlfriend because but you talking about girls to be natural, but you got a light skin, real hair girl.
Exactly. Or in that case right there, or you're no longer with that person. So now it's looking like, you know what I'm saying, you done did all the posting all these pictures. It's not because, you know, or someone says that, you know, they make a comedian may make a gay joke, right? And everybody's like, oh, they cringe, right? They cringe. It's because we now know more, are obviously aware of more people that may be, you know, of that community and that you know what I'm saying? And how they feel about it, right? But instead of like, it's more vulnerable because we know inside, we know somebody like that. And it was like, dang, we're taking it personal for that person, right? Whereas you didn't really have to know inside, like, or you didn't really have to give off to know that, oh, they know I know somebody like this. Or I may be that person myself.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I think we're in a more vulnerable time and going with that,
But even with that though, because you talking about, because I remember when Dave Chappelle came back with his Netflix joint, and he was doing some of those types of jokes, and the crowd seemed like they didn't, like everybody was there like, oh, Dave Chappelle, but when he did the same material that he's been doing the whole time, all of a sudden everybody was like, like you can't say that, like, and he was like, come on, like he had to try to get them to loosen up, and I feel like certain things are made taboo as because there's certain things that of course they're bad, but with comedy is always truth through humor is what you're getting, right? And I feel like there's certain things because there's still healing to be done on those subjects and still things and growth to be talked about. It's not people aren't okay with gay jokes and stuff like that but then you can make jokes about certain things you can make jokes about because it's been like that for a long time and everybody already gets it. So I think after we get past this growth thing with a lot of subjects, people can be more willing to joke about it. Same way if me and you, if we had a real discussion about something, it's serious in that moment, but years later, you remember that time you said blah, 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 and now we can joke about it.
Right.
So I feel like these conversations are healthy and stuff like that, and we should talk about it. It is
It's
more
new.
vulnerable,
You know,
but we
it's-
should be more vulnerable.
I do feel like, like I agree with what you're saying in regards to the Dave Chappelle thing first. Like, so it's interesting because it's kind of like when you're a member of that community, you're able to like joke on them. Like, okay, so if I was to go out here and start talking about nigga, like the word in my comedy set or in my poem, you would feel like, you know, you could laugh and I can resonate because I'm a part of that community. But then when you start talking about, if I was a white poet talking about nigga and like laugh, like there would be a different perception. And same with comedy. So I think more of some of the clapback sometime is because it's like, okay, this person's not a member of the community. They haven't shown that they're invested in the community anyway. So I think it'd be different if Dave Chappelle was like, oh, like, you know, I volunteer with a lot of these types of organization or I try to educate myself on this, but then I'm also telling jokes. Or if Dave Chappelle himself was gay, then he's able to tell these types of gay jokes. And in some ways, I kind of see how it's fair because it's like certain things you can do as a black person that you can't do as a person of a different race, or certain things you could say as a woman that you maybe, if you said the same things as a male comedian, you might get some clapback.
So would you say because he's outside of that community, his jokes can only come from a place of ignorance, essentially?
I think
that's kind of the problem.
Sometimes, it can come from a place of ignorance, or it could be taken the wrong way. But I think it's fair for some folks to take it the wrong way just because, you know, he's not coming from that perspective in that community. So it could be seen as offensive if he's using certain terminology that's just okay to be used in that community by those community members.
And that was part of your question too. Kind of went through it. We all have different views,
Right.
So it's easy to say. It's you. Let's say you're a white person, and you say, "Yo, y'all sometimes black people, y'all be acting a little ratchet and loud." And now if I say, "Man, shut the hell up," you don't know what you're talking about. Now, if your experience has always been where I'm always hyping, yelling and whatnot, and that's all your experience is, we have to start to, I guess, it's knowledge and understanding. Now, when you don't want to understand, you're being willfully ignorant. That's one thing we have to learn about society. Who's going to be willfully something, or who's going to actually, okay, you can educate them, say, yo, let me drop some dimes on you like this. Like as a transgender person, let me tell you about my experience and let me tell you why I feel this way. It's not just because of some, trend or anything. Let me actually tell you why I'm feeling this way, why I know at 9 years old I felt this way. And as a person that doesn't understand because you grew up, and this shit is so abnormal now, and now you're just giving your thought from like, this shit crazy, yo. We take things personal because like, damn, it sounds like it's in a negative connotation rather than that person just doesn't understand.
True.
And I know it's a thin line.
Right.
That's why I'm trying to talk about it without sounding like it's insensitive about the situation, or many situations go on. But as there's a lot of times where people are just giving their perspectives, like you were talking about the guy performing right there. You may just have a perspective. So is your intent to be disrespectful? That's what you.
And I think another thing, because I've been thinking about this lately, is even if you're outside of the community, but okay, I'll give an example more so. When Eminem tried to do the woke thing, you know what I mean, and talk about black culture.
Yeah.
Even though he's on the side of the fight for black people, to a certain extent, it's still like you're not one of us though. So even if you're outside,
so tread lightly.
So like, say like Dave Chappelle, say if he was really informed and involved, on issues and struggles for the gay community. And then at that point he told the joke. It's still like you're not really one of us. So
we gotta stop that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why we gotta stop. Some things we gotta just. All right, with the Eminem, let me start with that point first. And I know you were fired up. So let me get this one point in, and then I'm gonna let you go because I want you to keep that. I say we gotta stop that because in some cases you want as many. Some cases you need the voice, right? I want because you're educating your audience that typically wouldn't listen to me.
True.
So Eminem, you're telling people about something. It may be two people, Rome, right? It may be two people, but those two people now hear something different. They're exposed. They're listening to somebody they wouldn't probably listen to, Talib or Mos Def. They probably wouldn't listen to them and listen to them dropping dimes and gems. But Eminem, they're listening to. They're like, really? If Eminem, because there's such stands, right? You gotta understand, people are such on your side that they listen to you like, okay, I hear what you're saying. I've done that. I've stepped back and be like, oh, because so and so talked about it, huh?
It does make a difference because like it'll be something where like I can hear somebody say something, but then I hear it, but then somebody who I have a relationship with will say the same things.
Yeah,
I can
right.
absorb it from them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I definitely think y'all are getting on a good point of the fact that, you know, we still have to be careful with what we're saying, but sometimes you can raise awareness by having a different type of voice, put you up on game, basically. So I think with doing that, maybe it's great to, if you have a piece about something like this, getting the feedback of a community member, or even when you give this, like it's on a touchy subject like LGBT rights, like even women's rights. I've seen certain pieces where like male poets are doing a piece about like women's rights or something, and I feel like certain things are problematic to me because I'm like, as a woman, I don't feel like you can speak on that, and I don't feel like you can say that I should be ashamed because I want to do this and that. You know what I mean? Just different instances. So I think art is supposed to elicit a reaction. Like that means you're doing the right thing, but you also just always want to make sure when someone comes up and they give you that feedback, you can definitely take it and understand from it. But
Especially
I mean,
not from that cloth.
sometimes you do need another man to go to a different man and say, hey, we need to respect women, and they're not going to hear it if a woman's saying we need to respect women. But just always checking in with that community. But it is interesting to kind of see the same messaging being shared by different groups of people and it being received a little bit better. But so I do want to see more people trying to take on some of these issues and just doing it in like a respectful way. And maybe Eminem can reach, he can't really speak on behalf of the black community, but maybe he can talk about allyship. Like I definitely think being an ally, whether it's being an ally to the LGBT community, the women's community, or doing it, you know, across race, you can definitely say, oh, I'm an ally because this, and that. Just throwing in little things to also showing your piece that you know that, you know, your role isn't necessarily this person's journey or identity, but you're speaking about this story so that you can put people up on game about what's going on.
And just one thing Lee was saying, because like I feel like in these conversations when people just not knowing, so this is all like a healing process. So like everybody has to be able to have these conversations without fear of getting attacked or judged as such. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know. Like, I'll give you an example. Speaking from allyship, I'll give you an example. When I was in college, I was taking a diversity class, and they were talking about homosexuality was a subject, and I shared my experience of how in high school. This is just what I saw. I saw women who would be in a relationship with men who were treating them terribly, and then they would get in a relationship with the woman. So I would say I don't always know when I see that if that's something that quote unquote born that way, or if this is a situation where they were in this situation, now they're here. And I voiced that, and this girl who wasn't gay but she had friends who were, she started attacking me, and I was not speaking from a place of disrespect at all. I was saying this is my experience, and then it was like nah, blah blah blah, and she was like going off on me, and I was like, I don't know how to feel about it because I feel like now I can't. You know, I'm just saying where I'm at. You know what I mean? I don't.
Right.
So, and it was just kind of interesting to me because I didn't really know how. I didn't expect that to happen from somebody who was just like, you know, she's speaking from a friend. I'm sure that was a real relationship, but I was speaking from my experience as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's just like validating people's experiences and just understanding that, you know, they're just speaking from their experience and your experience can't be right or wrong, but like just understanding that you were trying to have a conversation going forward with it, and you weren't trying to say that, you know, everyone who's in the LGBT community is doing this, but everyone has their own journey, and you were just trying to gain more understanding. And I think just it's always tough to have those conversations because people are so used to being on the defense from other situations and from maybe being invalidated in the past. But I don't know, like maybe just having more context around these conversations, and just I'm gonna even try to challenge myself if I hear a poem that may be something, or even just see art form where I'm like, why is this the way it is? I reach out and I ask questions to the person and find them after the show, or reach out to them on Instagram if it's some type of like visual art form. And just kind of asking questions, just because the art is supposed to like evoke some type of emotion, and letting people know like, oh, well, this is how I feel about that, and maybe using it as a tool for education just beyond the show. Yeah, let's have a discussion afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad you said that, because that was gonna be my thing. Like, yo, let's have some action about it. Let's challenge each other. There's a group that we all aren't really, how can I put it, Like there may be something we're still on the seat about just because we don't understand it yet or because we look at it differently. I don't know what that group is for you two. I'm trying to think myself. What is it something that someone may say, okay, and I may, you know, but it's because I haven't challenged myself to even know somebody. You know, it could be somebody like, I guess not speaking around the bush. Like let's say somebody has something against, somebody can have something against fat people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just picking something.
No, there really is like fat phobia or whatever.
Yeah, that's wild, yo. Fat phobia, but that's because they just not under. They don't. So be around somebody. Like see why they may not want to work out, or why they may not want to do something, or somebody has something wrong with black people or white people. Like instead of just saying, "Oh, white people do this and white people do that," like get you somebody. We have to be relationships. We cannot diss something we have no relationship with. You know, so
and
but even
yourself.
that can be dicey on both sides because it could be things can be fetishized and it could still not be about you caring about the actual person because there's people who love fat women and it has nothing to do with who they are as a person. It's just their fetish. So you really do got to get to know who you're dealing with. You know what I mean, and get to know people. But I think what you're saying is be open to having these relationships.
Be open. But I'm saying let's challenge ourselves,
genuine relationships.
And I'm not saying to be phony and put ourselves around. Put ourselves in these situations, but I'm saying let's be open. Let's go out more. Let's be instead of just being in our comfort zone. That's why I was talking about the poetry. Bring it back to art. Yeah. Okay, let's go to those white spots. You know what I'm saying? Like we get comfortable doing the same crowd and whatnot and going to the different spots, but let's go to because they like. They flock with it. They mess with it.
They
right?
got a lot of venues. When they start hitting up these breweries coming for y'all.
Yeah, so let's go there. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk. Let's perform with them. Let's just not, assume that, oh, I don't want to do a racially piece because they,
Right.
Nah, I want to be like Mariah, where I just, I look at you and I start talking about black queens. Oh, the pettiness last night was beautiful. Oh, it was just beautiful. Yes, black queens.
You said a word, bro. Assume. Like I feel like we have these things in our head sometimes that stop us from doing these things. Like it might not even be like that. So sometimes just being who you are, regardless of where you're at. Like you shouldn't be changing up. So maybe if you go to these places, hey, I'm Benny. I'm here. Like I'm Benny at the brewery. I'm Benny at Apostrophe. I'm trying to do an event. Maybe the people at the brewery are the ones that say yes, and the people at Apostrophe are the ones that say no. But you might not assume that if you thought, hey, it's a white venue, I don't want to mess with them.
Right. So basically, like trying to diversify our thoughts, our content, and our audience.
You trying to diversify your thoughts?
Yeah,
I'm in the same process too, because
just trying to read and grow and learn, and like things I don't know about. Go check it out. Yeah.
So as you diversify your thoughts, like what do you feel like you have a plethora of right now? Do you feel like it's like, do you go for like mixed, or is it just one race, or is it like?
I feel like I just.
Yo, she was really about to try to answer that too. She about to, I don't know, man. I was confused. I don't know what you was gonna do with that.
I feel like I definitely come from my own experiences, so I know a lot about things that I fall in categories of.
He was just trying to say like job diversity, like culture diversity, like.
Oh, like as far as
your thoughts, Mariah.
Oh, he's saying. Are you saying like?
Are you saying do I think more about mixed people?
We're talking about diversifying our thoughts.
You talking about THOTS or you talking about THO?
Yes, we've been transitioning and start talking about our thoughts. She said she was trying to diversify our thoughts. What other thoughts were we talking about?
Now I feel like it's a setup.
This is taking a turn.
And it's THOTS.
This is taking a turn.
You know what?
Let's talk about types though. Let's talk about types.
What kind of types?
Like so, there's some conversation about
set.
Because types. I feel like types can look a lot of different ways. Some people
trap music.
Is it okay to have a very specific, like it has to look like this, or is it kind of like embracing people for who they are? Or like what is
this is beautiful, because I think that's an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah, it is interesting.
I think there's something in us because we like what we like, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Okay, do y'all want to be serious with this conversation first, or do y'all want to be fun? No.
Can we tie them both together?
No, because no. There's a real serious part of this conversation, and then there's a real fun part. So y'all want to be fun? Y'all want to be silly, or do y'all want to be serious first?
Let's get a little silly.
Because we have to hit both of them. But which y'all want to do first?
Let's start fun.
Y'all want to start first?
Silly.
All right. So.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think we all have our different types of what we like and whatnot.
Right.
And I always think it's interesting, how do we form these types? Like my type, I like
Slim dick.
You know what, yo, I like you just be healthy.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like you ain't really got to be like all slim and whatnot. I just want if you striving to be healthy, yo, because that lets me know you got a little bit of fire and some kind of ambition.
There it goes.
You know what I'm saying?
There it goes.
And, yo,
Benny
now-
that is mature taste because you picking up on
I
that.
don't know. Like I want
Yes.
I want to see the receipts for this.
You don't believe he's putting it into
No,
practice?
because like okay, healthy is so different for every person though. Like what if sis is real healthy, but you know she's on Weight Watchers. She's
And-
still getting her health kick
And
up.
then you know a
She-
nice
she's
smile,
good-
a nice smile too. I swear, you know what really
I'm
tops off a
seeing-
nice smile is teeth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Teeth, oh man, don't you agree, Mariah?
So we gonna just shift. Okay.
What happened? What shift? What were you talking about? You were talking about smiles.
Okay.
Okay, you're talking
So-
about being healthy, and there are different
saying
formats
there's
to being healthy.
different-
There are different formats to being healthy. All right. Look, man, see, this is the problem
You
right
can
here.
be healthy
we
and
can't
have a
we can't-
thyroid issue
but we
and-
can't talk about what we like without people getting sensitive, right? Yo, okay, so I do like. Look, I'm 6'5", right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm already tall and like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I just don't. I can't do nothing too big now because. You know what I'm saying? Like I like some. Honestly, I like something I could just. You know what I'm saying? I can just grab onto.
Right.
Like, yeah.
But there's
Right.
more to
You know what
grab.
I'm saying?
Never-
Like,
let me-
You're right, though. People do get sensitive.
What-
when you start
what
talking
happens
about
if
this.
she-
Yeah, you people
And then
get
they be having
sensitive.
types, too.
Yo, but everybody got types. Why we can't
Everybody
talk about our
got
types?
types.
Like I like that little. You know what I'm saying?
Because people aren't.
What's this clap about?
Because when you see that work in the back.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that clap.
But when you say that healthiness is sexy,
But what if it's not healthy though?
when you talk about healthiness being sexy, I feel like that's so
They
important.
didn't know it. Be's healthy though.
And that's all levels though, because it's spiritually, mentally, and physically. I feel like that's the real key, bro, because that
Right.
influences everything else.
Wellness.
And
Like-
can I call out? Can I just say something though?
What?
Can I say that I'm still growing?
Yes.
Yes.
Cause people criticize you. Yo, a couple years ago, I had different thoughts. Like a couple
Different
years.
thoughts.
Yes, I had different thoughts from when I had. If I had the same thoughts that I had at 20, that I have at 24, yo, something is
double
wrong.
entendre.
Something
For
is
those
on my.
that couldn't
No,
see,
I'm
Rome
with you.
just kicked the seat.
I'm with you. I better not have. Yo, you better not have the same thoughts from 4 years ago.
I think it's okay to have preferences, like, but you need to know why you have those preferences and be able to like even critique
Oh,
yourself
yes.
and be critical about, okay, well, why do I think this type of body type is more
So
attractive?
let's get
than
to the
this?
shit.
That's what I'm waiting on.
That's what I'm
That-
saying. Like,
you,
you
see,
see-
you see what she's doing? I see it too, bro.
Let's get
There's
to the
a tag
shit.
team happening right now, but we know what's really.
Let's
going
get to the shit.
on. You're saying what's my type?
Yes, Mariah.
Yes.
That's what we've been talking about for the past 10 minutes.
Yes.
I feel like my type is just. My type is it can vary depending on what stage
Shit, here
I'm
we go.
in.
Here we go.
But
I get this. I get this. I get this
Oh
from
my
another one.
God.
I get this from another one too.
Oh my god! It depends. It varies.
Why
you
is
know?
it so-
Depends on what mood I'm in.
It's just so
with-
gray.
And first, it has to start with mentality, and
Right.
conversation.
Right, it
Oh,
does
get the
though.
hell-
You
Physical.
need to meet people
Physical.
inside, but the inside out is important. What is the mentality of that person? What are their dreams? What is their
Okay,
conversation?
they have
like?
great mentality. They have great conversation. What is the body looking like, yo? With
I
that,
feel like I am traditionally attracted to people who are more feminine.
Okay.
So you're not necessarily saying that
so we
people.
like to say.
Okay. See, I'm not gonna give it.
Oh, I got you,
In
bro.
this
I
moment-
got you.
She
In
don't
this
want to
moment,
admit.
she
She don't
realized
want
She don't want to
to
be one of
that.
us, bro. She don't want to be
That's
with
what I'm
us.
saying. She don't want to admit that you
Look,
like that
you
slim thick.
You can't dap up before you really know the true. You can't start nodding with Benny until you hear the full thing poetically is about to say. Because it could
I
be
see
a
what you're
setup.
saying. I
It
can
could
see
be a
what you're saying.
setup.
He could
But-
throw some words in after the dap, and
Yes.
you already agreed
and
to
then
the dap.
you're already
Yeah,
caught up in
you're
the
already
dap.
in the
You've
dap.
already co-signed.
You've already signed the
co-signed.
You are the dad.
But and usually a more slender build, but I'm also not saying that I couldn't. I also have to just think about, okay, why am I attracted to this particular type of thing, and like, can I still see other things as beautiful? And I have to look at myself. Like, okay, maybe somebody can be critical about how I particularly look, and just understanding why I'm attracted to those things is really important to me, because I don't want to just
Why are you attracted to those things? Okay,
Like-
because
What have you come to understand?
that's what
so
I've been.
far?
That's what I've been battling with myself.
so
'Cause I
like
can talk about this too.
I feel like as far as
Yes.
femininity, I just know that I'm not really constricted by particular gender roles. So I don't feel like I need to have somebody who's going to be super masculine and super feminine to
Okay.
have that balance. Like, I feel like I just like kind of breaking out of that particular mold and being able to fit on any role that I like and what feels comfortable for me and the partner that I'm with. And then as far as just the build, I feel like, again, like I'm just interested in health, wellness. Like I really like going to the gym, eating certain types of foods. And there are people who are thicker that are still doing those things.
How silly can I get with this?
Oh God.
Let
me turn my mic off.
How silly can I get
feel
with
like
this?
I'm gonna have
All
something to
the
say
way.
back.
You are gonna have something to say back because you
What?
said you just go based on the role. So
Look at Mariah. So she being interrogated. She like she being interrogated.
that's why I'm being nice now these days, and I'm asking how far I can go with things before I actually go there.
Fair.
I'm looking
If
at
you
the viewers
don't,
just
if
like,
you don't want me to go there, I won't go there. But you say you play with you don't.
what's your story? What's your
I
story?
just want to. You say you don't take on a role, so you know what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
Turn off the lights.
And light a candle.
Does that mean,
Oh God.
young Mariah, do you put on a seatbelt in the car?
I feel like this is just
That's an
about.
innocent question. Do you put on a seatbelt?
Oh my God.
Okay.
I always wear a seatbelt when I drive.
Okay, bet. Oh, nice. Yo, my respect level for you has just gone up now.
I'm confused too. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I tried to do it in a very covert way. You follow me?
Yeah, I did.
What? I'm missing it.
Yeah, but I mean,
I guess we'll talk about this later.
Hey, yo,
I guess we'll talk about this later.
I like you more. We really are one and the same now. We really. Oh my gosh, you and my sister. We really are one and the same.
Did you ask if she puts on her seatbelt or
She
own seatbelt?
She puts on the seatbelt.
of the other person?
Well, wow.
I just.
So do you put on the seatbelt for the other person as well? My mom used to do that when I was in the car. For safety, like she put in the seat. She would strap me on to make sure I was.
If I'm being extra, I might throw on somebody else's seatbelt. But yeah.
Yeah, if you really, if it's gonna be a wild ride.
My God. Okay, so
I asked how silly I could get with this.
Is this a thing? Do I need to go on Urban Dictionary for what seatbelt is? Or
after the show, we'll explain.
okay.
All right, but anyway, you know what? This is a battle. Though. It's a thing I have to ask myself. Like, why do I like? You know what? Because I was getting caught up in Instagram, yo, and I'm gonna be open and vulnerable about it because I think a lot of people won't talk about it. But yo, when you see all these joints on Instagram, yo, and they looking some type of way, and
They
yo,
be fake,
it just
though.
it
They
makes
be fake. Just remember.
they be fake. Yeah, they be fake.
Right.
And yo, I
Remember what the average size of a woman really is.
Well,
But
are we talking the average size of a woman with 2018 diet, or are we talking about average size of a woman over like history and like average? What?
I'm saying like the average size of the woman living in the U.S.
man,
I don't know if you can go by that because we so unhealthy. I don't think you should
But
settle.
at the same time, we can't go by like, ooh, she should be looking
But you
like
know
a
what?
size 0
But-
when that's an anomaly.
But you know what? And I know this may sound cliche because I was just joking on you, so you can joke on me. But it really,
Oh, it's coming.
yo, I'm gonna tell you, it really does boil down to mentality because you can get these Instagram models, and I'll tell you, man, it's just,
nothing going on there.
what? Nothing going on. Like they had be.
Oh,
you know
so
what I'm
it got you, but didn't keep you. But you wanted to
But
like
you had
learn
to
people
find
from
out
the
though.
outside in.
You got to find out though.
saying? You gotta
Like,
find out.
So
I
you
think
had to take
you gotta
that
you gotta get from the sample the food and see how it tastes.
because he would not know that that's not what he wanted unless he went there and found out.
Now I know.
But now you've wasted your appetite on these little things
I know.
that you didn't even like the flavor of. The meals over here, but you too full to
It
even
look like,
enjoy
but
them.
sometimes we like snacks.
And he coming back for that meal. He found out early so he can get up out of there.
I
Sometimes
see.
you got to fail
Maybe
to win.
the meal's like, nah,
Sometimes-
you already ruined your appetite.
But sometimes
Sorry.
check this out. Sometimes the meal ain't finished cooking,
Oh,
so you get a little, so you nibble on a little something.
And
till the-
sometimes
Until
the
the
meal,
meal is ready.
I'm gonna give you another one. Sometimes the meal went cold because you wasted so much time with the hors d'oeuvres.
Damn.
Mariah. But you gotta understand it.
I'm just saying.
Mariah. Yes, you're right. Sometimes the meal did.
Now
get
you
cold.
got to microwave it. Could
Hey.
have got it fresh out the oven.
You know
Too
what?
bad.
Hey, you talking to a brother on use microwave? I'll put it back in the oven.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go. But you got to be careful because sometimes it get a little dried out. So,
yeah.
Right.
but sometimes the leftovers taste better than when it was
The
first
left-
made.
Sometimes, but you'll never know when it was first made. Wasted time with the hors
Hey, you know
d'oeuvres.
what? At this point in life and
There's
age,
a lot of metaphors.
in life and age, nothing's fresh anymore. Let's
That's
just call it
true.
what it
No,
is.
no.
Nothing is fresh anymore.
Some stuff
like
is still
I,
fresh.
hey man, that's why
People
I don't
still
trip
cook
over
from
people.
scratch.
I don't trip over people past, yo. Look, man, what you now?
Okay, we gonna come back to that.
I'm
'cause
just
we don't
saying,
have enough time in
what's
that
up?
episode to
I'm just-
talk about past.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't trip over your past. I mean, to a certain degree, but I mean, And sometimes when you get to
that degree is crucial.
So you have some experience with people who have crazy pasts?
No. I'm just saying,
Just in
like, I
general?
feel like poetically maybe have some hang-ups about particular types of pasts, but it depends.
But I am realizing what the things that I like and why do I like it. And it boils down to being healthy. But it boils down to, it's just that because you can't get caught up in Instagram and social media and bae goals, relationship goals. You being on the beach, both of you topless.
Yeah.
Both of you got your suits, your bathing suits on, and you're looking good by the poolside and whatnot.
And by that point, you're just out of touch with reality.
Yeah,
and
with
stuff
reality
like that.
or even the process. If you get somebody, that's why I say healthy and striving, because that process, a year
Y'all
or
might
two,
give it right.
and you now that goal that you saw.
Right.
So sometimes we look at the final product rather than understand the process, and I think that's what sometimes it goes into the type.
Now this is something
That's
I
real.
agree with.
I think we agreed on. I think we agreed on a lot, right?
So it's really
I
about
think
knowing
it
who
was
you're
just
investing in. It's really about knowing who you're investing in,
Yeah.
and it's really about the specific person. So you can have a type, but it's really about wanting that specific.
And you can step outside of what
It's
your
heart.
type
It's the
is.
heart too. You gotta pay attention to the person's heart, because if they have a good heart and they have a healthy heart, they're gonna want better for themselves. A lot of times, it's other aspects of stuff that's going on that might cause issues. You know what I'm saying? So, peace out.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah.
If people listening, we throwing up. Like if you watching, we just don't. Lauren,
Our
Solaire.
production assistant is headed out.
She's leaving us. The topics got too hot for her. You know what I'm saying? She couldn't handle it. Ooh, now we can really get into Rome and understand his types. Bye. But how did you really know your type?
Man, my type is weird because I don't really have a type, but I want people to be their natural selves.
Mhm.
So my thing was always I like natural hair women. I
Yeah.
like I've talked to tall and short, and I noticed when I talked to shorter girls, I didn't like it as much as I like taller girls. So I think I do have that preference, but that's based off experience, not just looking or whatever.
Yeah.
You do get a lot of unhealthy type ideas from the media, from
Yeah.
Instagram, not just Instagram, but pornography,
Definitely,
music
yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
I was surprised when I seen actual women had like their stomachs weren't flat, because I was used to thinking, oh, models and that's how they're supposed to look.
Yeah.
But that's people starving themselves to look certain ways too.
Right.
And then when I started finding out people taking ribs out and getting
Oh,
butt
Lord.
shots.
What?
Girls
No,
take
the ribs.
yeah,
though.
girls take their lower ribs out to make their, like some of the models and Instagram models that you see, they get their bottom ribs taken out so that their waist will be smaller,
No.
and they get a fat butt, and then so a fake butt to make it look fat so it looks like it over. And I wonder how that
Patriarchy.
person functions in actual life, because you're taking these pictures, but like I'll be thinking about what if somebody's chasing us? Like, are we gonna be able to run? You got your bottom ribs missing and fake butt. Like,
Your ass leaking.
Are you gonna
Let's
fall-
talk about the ass leaking.
are you gonna fall apart? Like, if we ever got to really get to it, like if it's really like we
And-
gotta get out of a situation.
But let's think about this. Let's say you and that person have a child now.
Right.
Yeah.
And you think they look like one thing, but then your child come out looking like the real them,
Yeah.
partially them. You're like, what the hell is this?
Right.
This ain't, I know I had sex with you, and I saw you pregnant, and I saw you deliver my child, but this don't look, it don't have none of us. Well, back in the day, I had a little surgery here, a little surgery there, a little do.
Also,
And
like,
this
I
is-
feel like you can lose who you are as a person trying
Oh my
to
gosh.
chase
just
after
look
something.
like something else that's not even you.
And it's like this weird, it's just terrible combination of guys being brainwashed to value certain things and women being insecure in who they are to try to feed into what guys are brainwashed to believe. So they do that, and then guys reward it because they brainwash and think that's what they want.
Boy, was I brainwashed.
So it creates this cycle. So now we're creating products and
I'm
we're
still
creating images. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and it feeds that culture and it makes money. So that's why it keeps happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because makeup companies making people feel like they got to cover up certain things, and you got
Right.
waist trainers and all this type of stuff.
And is it healthy?
It's really just broken people that don't know to embrace themselves yet.
and aren't okay with just who they are naturally.
Right.
At times, some people, if you want to enhance, you can definitely do that if that's really what your heart desires. But for the most part, I think a lot of times it's fueled by just trying to fit into what patriarchy told you was what you were supposed to look like. And we need to get back into what do you actually want to do for yourself and what makes you feel the best, what makes you feel you look the sexiest. And when you really have that confidence,
don't know.
that makes you even look more attractive though.
But sometimes
when you have confidence.
what makes you feel sexy is based on what you've seen makes people think is
Yeah.
sexy.
Yeah. And it's not just patriarchy because guys have the same standard. I've had girls tell me they didn't want to talk to me because my muscles weren't big enough, or you know what I mean, or
They said
But
that
that's
to you.
going
So
back
women
to
have standards
patriarchy
too.
They
too,
said
though.
that- they
So
said that
you
to
have
you.
to be a big burly like guy.
yeah,
in a roundabout way.
in a roundabout way. But I feel like, so are you saying that women don't have standards outside of what patriarchy gives them for men?
Most of it is fueled by that.
Okay.
Like, and I don't think it's all men subscribe to it, but it is like, okay, so patriarchy is telling us men have to be like strong and not have these emotions and like
Yeah.
have these muscles, and then women also, to be with a man that looks like that, you need to look this way, and then it just fuels like this toxic cycle. So it's having an impact definitely on men, and having an impact as a result trickling down to also affecting women.
Let me ask you this. So as with patriarchy in that position, in your opinion, what looks like a better situation? Is it a situation where there is no patriarchy or matriarchy, or do you think it should be? What does a society based on matriarchy look like, or what do you see as? Because I think of just everybody
Right.
embracing themselves and who they are, and then screw the system. I
Right.
don't say patriarchy. I say the system. Period is the problem. I say industry. I don't like industry. I don't like a lot of things. So
Right. I feel like, I mean, it's not just patriarchy. It's also consumerism. It's a lot of things that fuel that system. But I think that a lot of it is tied in with that. To counteract it, I don't even think we've really seen a world like that. So it's hard to say this is the exact solution, because if I knew it, I would try to do it tomorrow. But I do think it's moving away from even gender roles of like matriarchy, patriarchy in general, and just what feels right for you. And like be your own goals type of thing, or
that's
find people within your life that you're striving for other things. But because the thing is, when you say hashtag whatever goals, most of the time you're basing that off a picture. Is that really your body goals? Because honestly, you just know that this person looks that way, but you don't know how they eat. You don't. They could just have a fast metabolism and their body could also, they could get tired really quickly. They have an iron deficiency. Like you really don't know
what's going on there.
how they look at about their bodies, how their body moves through the world. Other than, you don't know if those ribs are missing. Really,
Right, yeah, that's true.
You're just going off of that one picture. So when you say someone's a goal, know more about them. So like if you do say, oh, so such and such is my goal, have seen videos of them, have seen what their daily life is
You
like.
know what their damn voice sound like? Boy, I done seen some goals turn into some failures because of that damn voice.
Right.
But
Right, you don't know anything about the person that you're really
We
saying.
create
is-
these fantasies. We create.
do.
That's why I have
with no background knowledge.
Right. And sometimes I'm aware of how I may perceive that, and sometimes I have to be careful of that. Especially like when you post things online, and I'm
Right.
posting my poetic videos. I didn't realize it. To me, it's just me. I'm gonna give out the vibe that I'm feeling.
Right.
But I didn't realize till lately of the fantasies people grab
put
up-
with that.
of you as a person, and of what you come with,
Right.
and how you're
Your
supposed
social
to
media verse, like
Oh,
you in
man.
real life.
Like that's why I try to show the different facets of me, because I don't want you to see like the cool me and you never see the asshole me, and then you're mad when you meet the asshole me.
And that was something that happened with me, because I remember I used to be performing a lot of my stuff was just Christian, like a lot of Christian based
we talked
stuff.
about
You know
that.
what I mean?
Right.
And even though I wasn't a churchy, I'm not a churchy person. But people would think, oh, I just thought you just you don't just do nothing but thou shalt blah 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 all day, and that's not me at all.
Wow.
You know
so
what I
they
mean?
kind of pigeonholed you into like
Exactly.
who they
And that was either good or bad based on what they wanted from me. You know what I mean? 'Cause,
Right.
So.
And it's like, no, I have like all different types of content, but this is a part of who I am as an individual.
But the reason I was saying the thing about the patriarchy, because I'll be doing research about like even like different tribes where they have a matriarchal structure, and how they do, like the people who are native to the Taino people who are native to the Caribbean before Columbus killed them all.
Right.
Like they had like matriarchal societies, and they structure things differently, completely differently from other ways that we, you know what I mean? And it's just real interesting. And there's certain places where they didn't have, certain tribes where they didn't have a need for warriors, so they didn't put the emphasis on male strength, so they had a female dominated system.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just real interesting to see those differences, but you don't see that in a mass scale society like somewhere like France or United States or China, somewhere big like that. We don't see that. But I would just like to see some. I would wonder what that would look like on a grand scale like that.
Right. And there's some like African tribes that have structured their self off of a matriarchy too. So it'd just be interesting to kind of see that in a grander scale, and just to kind of see the male perspective just stop being like the only thing that everyone tries to adhere to, or this particular type of male perspective. There can definitely be like a healthy type of way to look at yourself as a male, a healthy way to look at yourself as a female, healthy way to look at yourself if you don't feel like you fall in either of those
Let me
categories.
put it like this, man. If you, man, don't worry about like weight. I say weight that because you'll learn with nutrients and with the physicality of the body, weight, plays a part, but it's about your structure. It's about how your blood system, how, if you're lean, things like that. It's not based on I'm weighing this. I got kind of weigh this, weigh that. I ain't looked in the scale in so long.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I look at how my structure is.
Or
That your structure tells you a lot.
Yeah, how your body lays, how you feel.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you
I
feel?
think
What
if
is your
people
body
went
saying
more
to you?
about how they
Yeah.
feel, we would see a lot different.
Now, eating 10 cartons of ice cream and you still feel happy. Okay, yes, I get that makes you happy.
Or
But
like
let's
you,
put into perspective of how you feel, and what is this feeling coming from?
right,
the
because
euphoria.
again, you can have that perfect body type, but you may not feel good about yourself.
Boy, I see a lot of those.
Or you may feel hungry. I mean, you really do have to pay attention to all the different parts of being healthy too. Just checking in with the emotional, the physical, all that. But we're not gonna just focus on this because I feel like we have talked so much about the body. They're like, oh, are we doing fitness now? And we are. We're about to get our push-ups on. No, but for real, we got.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, the way I wanted to switch to the non-silly part, the serious part, talking about what we like and types, real quick. Man, yeah, we got a quick second to talk about it. I think it's interesting. 'Cause I'm looking at this case with Nazir, the Olympic doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a disease right there. Now, controlling what you act upon versus what you like. The difference between that learning, I think that's where maturity falls into place right there, and I think that's when accountability and responsibility falls into place. Because I think there is a disease, and there's not a disease, but I think there is a chemical balance or imbalance, or there's a chemical substance within us that controls what we like. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to whether I like a person of a different type of tone, skin tone. It may not be anything right about that, but how are you acting? Do you not ever give, how do you act upon that? So if someone out there likes children, that's something, a disease that they've been, unfortunately, something that's been brought onto their soul, right? Now, the responsibility and accountability falls when you take what you like and now you're putting it into actions you're crossing that line versus something that's morally right. You think you have to know how to catch, and this goes around the spectrum of what we're talking about. Catch yourself and ask yourself, why do I like this? You know what I'm saying? So some things we like in our heads that we don't even ask ourselves, why do we even like this?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all like a dude that's dark skinned with dreads and big muscles. Why do you like that? Where does that really come from? It may look good. Yeah, we may look good. You know what? Y'all like old girl. She got the slim waist and thick ass. You know what I'm saying? Natural hair, puffy and everything. But why do I really like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or is it coming, different? I think the main thing of our conversation is to ask ourselves why we like something and how we're acting upon it. Because with that situation going on right there, and there's a lot of things we don't address with these people, yeah, their actions are sick, disgusting. But that's a mental issue right there. And people that we have to know how to catch those things. And we have to start calling people out. There were people in that. If you know somebody, come on. There were people. The president of Michigan State resigned. You know what I'm saying? If you know somebody's a little off, listen to conversation. People will tell you a lot, even if it's little. People will tell you a lot by their conversation, and you red flags should start to go up.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
that's my.
And getting
word.
people the help that they need if
Yeah.
those issues are going
Yeah.
on. Like you need to go talk to somebody. You need to remove yourself from these types of situations.
And if you have that power to remove them.
Right. Then definitely you're a part of the problem if you're not trying to step up and remove that person if you know there's a potential that they could harm someone else. And if you notice something within yourself, take that step back and try to find that healing that you can to just find out, why am I thinking this and why do I have these bad thoughts, or why is this disease affecting me, and try to take those steps towards being more positive, whether it's talking to a counselor, trying to educate yourself further about, okay, why do I have this colorism issue? Why do I think certain women who are light skinned are more beautiful than people who are dark skinned? Let me look into Willie Lynch. Let me educate myself on what I've been indoctrinated to think, and try to undo that if you can. But just kind of catching ourselves and being able to say, okay, I'm flawed, but I have these strengths, and how can I work on this? And we're constantly trying to work on ourselves anyway. So it's okay to admit certain things that are going on with you internally, and then try to do something about it though, beyond just admitting it.
Right.
Yeah, because that's what I had to ask myself. Why do I like light skinned girls a little bit? Somebody said, you like light skin. I'm like, nah, I tried to deny it. But then I had to think back, like, wait a minute, let me look at my track record real quick. I had to look at the book. Wait a minute, the roster. Wait a minute. I needed to diversify my thoughts.
Right.
My thoughts.
There you go.
I can't.
There you go. Yeah. No, I vibe with everything that was said. And I agree. And those are all things. But when you do that research and a lot of times you find that the thing that you were staying away from or brainwashed not to want or whatever, you start to realize once you do the research, you start to find the power in those things. You start to like those things as well, you know. I think that's a good place to end it. But yeah, definitely if you're having those thoughts or if you're going through those things, any struggle, anything that you're ever dealing with in life, always, regardless of what's going on in your life, always check in with yourself. Yeah. Always check in with yourself, and don't be afraid of what you see. Be willing to face it. Be willing to forgive yourself from anything that you've done in the past or that you're going through, and just grow and just be about understanding loving yourself and understand getting those things out of you, because all these unnatural things, they're literally unnatural. Your natural self, you are love, you are peace, you are joy, you are all these wonderful things. And the goal is to get back to those things, because a lot of us are brainwashed out of those things because of society or life or whatever.
Okay, well, I wanna let's get to the fun part.
All right,
let's get back to the fun. That's a little serious.
We talked about a lot. We covered.
We did.
That's why we did, because we only got Mariah for we got to make these shows count, man.
Count.
And you got a lot to offer, so we need to get those perspectives out there.
So
we really got into some stuff today.
We did, and we cut some stuff out, but what we can't cut out,
it flowed, man. Can't cut them vibes.
Are these freestyles?
Yes. All right.
Now I want to do something a little different today. I gotta Rome, of course, Rome's gonna bless us how he normally does.
Yes.
But I want to challenge Rome.
Okay.
I want to challenge Rome because I think it's a little too easy out in these streets, and I want you to challenge me, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna start off with this thing, with you dropping this freestyle, right?
Okay.
But then Mariah and I, we're gonna do our impromptu poetry. Now,
Right.
Okay.
I want to throw this on me. If you want to do it,
Okay.
you let me know. But I want you to switch up, and I want you to give me a different word
Okay.
throughout. I don't know. You just keep throwing the word at me.
Throughout the piece.
Throughout the piece.
Yeah,
You throw out a
that'd
piece,
be-
and I
that'd
have
be
and
fun.
I have to match it
Okay.
with what's
Okay.
going on.
Yeah.
All right. So, but I got a beat for you, right?
Okay.
Okay.
I got a beat for you, and I want to see how you can flow
Okay.
on your toes
Okay.
and how you really get down.
All right.
Because this
Oh.
thing was popping, right?
Mm.
So we about to see how you move, how Ron really moves. Is he really about what he says? Can he really make this hotline bling? Can he really
You know,
flow?
Mariah got them beats too, though. I mean, she got the flows too.
Can he really go off anything? Is he really about what he says?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I about just what I says? I kill this beat, it's dead. Trap flow though. Every time I spit, I be hotter than Acapulco. Put me on this mic, these niggas deaf, I call it so-so. And every time I spit, I'm going crazy like I'm loco or Loso. Loso's way, yeah, this is my day. When I spit it off the top, I be looking good to my bae. Yeah, shout out to Lauren. She peeled off in a foreign, not a Lamborghini, but a Honda. Yeah, I'm like Oh, it switched up. That's what
Where you at? Where you at, Ron?
I'm still flowing. I'm going like Jesse Owens. When I spit it off the top, guaranteed the mic I'm controlling. Every time I spit it, guaranteed I mix that potion. Seeking in like lotion. Niggas know I'm the sultan. That means I am the king. Spitting it for my team. When I'm rapping off the top, I be leaving out with your queen. Yeah, you know I run the scene. Rome the Carlo get green. That means I'm getting money. My flow is sweet like the honey. Yeah, it's like it's sunny. Keep flowing. What's going on? Yeah, I'm steady going. It don't even matter. Guaranteed I'm straight controlling. Every time I spit it, guaranteed I get it open. Yeah. This is my magnum opus. I'm steady flowing off the track. Yeah, you gotta know this. They swarming just like a locust. Niggas know I'm the POTUS. That means I am the president. Niggas spit it so evident. Yeah, I run it like Dorsey Levin's kid. Yeah. Guaranteed that's like some leavening. I make the bread rise when I'm coming up for the top. Guaranteed them hand high when I'm spitting it like it's hot. I like this flow. I like the way this going. Guaranteed I get to spit it. Guaranteed I get to flowing. Hey yo, Lee rocking Adidas. Every time I spit it, guaranteed I be the meanest. My style is like the cleanest, but it don't even matter. I'm taking rappers to cleaners. Yeah. It's like it's Captain Planet, leaving out with Janet. Niggas know I jack it. Spit it off the top, guaranteed I Guarantee another bracket. I was trying to figure out how to use Jackson. I switched to Jackson.
Yeah, I know. I caught it right there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, I wanted to see. I just wanted to see.
Yeah, you was giving me the 5 fingers of
Yeah,
death.
I wanted
man.
Right.
I want next time it's gonna be really 5 beats.
Okay,
So I just
okay.
wanted to warm you up.
Yeah.
You see where you at, but let me see
Okay,
what
we
I
got this word association. We
Let me
about
see
to
what I-
make it pop off.
Let me
Right.
see what I got real quick.
I'm excited to see this word association go.
Hold on. I'm gonna let this rock too. This about to switch too.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what we're gonna do, we do.
So giving you words.
First word. Start light. We're gonna start with love.
Oh man, such a lovely thing. See, I woke up this morning with you on my mind. No, I woke up this morning with you laying by me on your spine. You see, this is something so divine. Us, this love is so pure. You in my mind, you cure anything that may go through and might try to tame me, try to make me, try to break me. But you are the aim in me. Yes, that's why I message you at every moment that I can. See, I want you to be my lover. That's why I take your hand and I want to be your man. No, I want to be your son. No, we could have a son or we could have a daughter. Either way is fine with me because you baby mama fine. Matter of fact, I want to spend all my dimes just to let you know
Cheese.
that you, I want to spend this cheese. Just, yeah, baby, you got me on my knees just to make you say please. But darling, stop. You know, without the keys, you start my ignition. And baby, please just know that I'ma have you in the kitchen lighting candles. Best believe I want you just to handle everything we do, baby girl. It's kind of like Randall. I scramble with this.
Amazon.
I scramble with this words because you are something like something out of the Amazon. Something so exotic. And yes, I want you and us to be so erotic. And you and I could fly into the sky and become
Stop
something
sign.
so blue. But then sometimes I see you and it makes me want to stop sign. But I know how I gotta sign my heart on you and let you know that this love can be true.
Kidney.
And understand you are my rib, but I am your kidney. And something how we go together is something like them kidney beans and collard greens and something like Thanksgiving table plate. And god damn it,
Stars.
girl, you are the star in my light. And that can sound so cliche, but understand when I speak on this mic, I just want you to understand that I come in for you and we might just
Diarrhea.
fly off into whatever. But love, for you, I have diarrhea. I mean, these are words that I'm flowing out. I have diarrhea of love because it just comes flowing out. And look, I may be nasty, but I like how you keep it nasty, but you keep it classy. Whenever we go, wherever we
Warrior.
go, wherever we be, when you are my warrior in these streets. And you, matter of fact, I tell you sometimes to put down the shield, but you like to put up and let me know that you can build together, and no matter the weather. See, I sometimes stumble on my words. That's how you make me do.
Donald
But
Trump.
Ah, man, baby. You see, I was loving you at first sight when you said fuck Trump, and I was like, damn, that's how you feel on the first date? I was like, yeah, you my type, but let's just know that it's gonna be our night. So we switch it up like the beat. We switch it up on our feet.
Jay-Z.
Whenever we on the groove, and whenever, in fact, you like Jay-Z too? I like that, boo. I see you in the front row too. I close my eyes whenever I look at you because damn it, you like Medusa, and the way you get me is something like a hula hoop, and I'm god damn it, I come back
Snaggletooth.
a snaggle tooth whenever I spit, best believe, because that's how I get. Because I mean, these words are just so ruthless. Matter of fact, I'm just go toothless. Matter of fact, I just go ruthless when that's how I want to drive. Best believe I'm with you, I'm by my side, and that's just how we
Poetically
fly.
correct.
Poetically correct. You listening to it on YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever you may be. Download it and subscribe right now.
Hey.
Yo, you killed that, bro.
You did.
Nice.
You didn't let it go. You didn't let it go.
Nah, you
I
stayed
thought
in
I
there.
got you on the diarrhea.
Yeah, I ain't flipped it. He got it.
You got me. Yeah, you got
That was the throw off.
Oh man.
Let's see.
man. Oh man.
Mariah.
All right.
Video games.
All right. My favorite video game always used to be Pac-Woman. Running after all those little bots. I always thought the ghost can't catch me or it's game over. Sometimes I feel like the game's over, but then I still find my fingers pressing A and B and C and D, and sometimes I go Z to A backwards a lot of the times when we play.
Piano.
See, I play piano keys, but sometimes I forget the C and A. Forget to call you. I said your name today when I woke up. Can't tell if it was a nightmare or a dream. Sometimes I figure things out backwards and try to clean up the messes that I already made.
Novocaine.
And the messes I made are shown in my teeth, because I really like sweet things, but then my sweet tooth leads to me losing more teeth because I have to go Novocaine underneath the knife, take my teeth, have my teeth removed because of the things I ate, the things I write, sometimes tell me the wrongs that I do in my life, and I still smile.
Rats.
I still smile. Sometimes I'm a mouse chasing the cheese. Sometimes I'm a rat just running around in the street. I can't always tell. Either way, it's a maze all around me. Either way, I'm just trying to ring the bell, trying to win the fight against myself. Knockout punches. Sometimes I sin in reverse and then they hit my chin. And
Leather.
sometimes I feel like leather. Rough skin, need some lotion, kind of dry. But then I think sometimes the driest things are still beautiful, like a cacti in the middle of the desert.
Lotion.
And I need to shea butter all of the scars and the cracks that I've left myself with. So I put some lotion on my hands and I rub them together, kind of like Birdman did. And I'm still trying to stay fly. Wheezy till I die. Used to be a fan. Bling bling on the ring.
Trench coat.
Trench coat when I do these things because I'm a spy. Inspector Gadget with the gadgets that I own. Wish I could save myself. Wish I could find my true home, because sometimes I feel homeless while I'm on this journey with myself, trying to find my miss in this abyss.
Family.
Family's always there to hold me down. Make sure I can redirect my crown when sometimes it gets lopsided and I forget the queen that I am. But when I look back at the fam, I remember all the family trees, all the roots I have in me, grounding me, reminding me of who I'm supposed to be.
Cadillac.
And then I ride like I'm Cadillac Records, no spinning Cadillac records in my Cadillac as I roll on the road. It's all a journey and I don't know if I'm headed home or making a new one. Miles on my heart, in my hands, and my body, and we always gonna get there because we got a compass in our chest, and if we listen to it closely, it'll always guide us north to where we're supposed to go, the most high. Lean up, look up to the sky when you don't know where to go.
Nicaragua.
Where I'm going is Nicaragua, and I think I might find peace there. Think I might find pieces of myself that I hid away there. Think I might find understanding, maybe a Cadillac. Just kidding, I don't have a license to drive there, but I'm still gonna drive myself crazy, trying to figure out how I can spread love all the way all the way across the US, and baby, I can't wait to get there. And I'm not prepared to keep going with this rhyme, but I think what we've been able to understand is this a roadmap to the divine, to find the true life, to find the God in me and divinity.
Netflix.
Beyond your definition.
Beyond your definition is going hard in these streets.
Hey.
Going beyond the definition, the stereotypes, the box that they put us in. We'll bloom outside of those, and we'll find our own grounding, grasp our own truth, beyond the definitions of who they told you was you, to find out who the real you was you. All along, definitions can always be redefined. Synonyms of who else you were besides the queen and the divine. Like Mariah, you're gonna find out who you are today as we pray. Amen.
Amen. Shut it down.
I like how you into that.
Shut it down.
Nice. That was kind of fun.
Yes.
It was.
Great
It
idea.
was.
Over
I was
here.
like, y'all are giving me some words right now.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
wrong.
It was fun. It was fun.
I was just, you know, you got off a little easy. Next time I got you because I was getting warmed up, and then I started.
He was looking around the
looking
room.
around-
I was
yeah.
like, where were those objects around?
Yeah, I gave Lee love. You know what I mean? But I gave her family though.
Yeah, family is.
And you know what's tight when you did family? The part of the beat said something about come together.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
really?
Yes, I
Oh,
was
man,
like-
I didn't even catch that.
So
I tried to pull a book out of Lee's page and was like, let me close my eyes and see what that's like.
Right.
You felt something, right?
Yeah. I was like, okay, the distractions are gone. All
Yeah.
I got is these words
It's
in me.
all you see the words come to you.
Right.
And it's just you got to paint the canvas in your head.
That was a dope show, y'all.
I appreciate
It
that.
was.
Damn.
Great conversation. Freestyles was on point.
Yes.
The first freestyle and the second one because we didn't have
Right.
our pieces ready. So.
True. We did have
Shout out to
two
Lee
freestyles.
for coming through.
Yeah. With the homework.
Yeah. So if
You were a good student.
as always, I was a good student in class. I'm still a good student. You know why?
We still working. We still
Yeah.
working over here.
Yeah.
But we turned it in though.
Yes.
When she called on us, we just did the math real quick in our
Yep.
head.
There it
Yeah,
is.
you just put down answers.
We did, low-key. But it's okay. We still learned our lesson,
Yeah,
right?
we at least got a C plus though.
Anyway, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Subscribe. It's right there,
Hit
right
that
there,
button.
whatever. Yeah, subscribe. If you listen on wherever you listening, rate us. Follow us on Instagram though.
Yes.
Beyond Your Definition, Rome DiCarlo.
Yes.
I gotta let you say it. You know.
Yeah. At Rome DeCarlo. That's Rome like the city, DC like the district. I should pop up after that. You can't miss it. Oh, I just added that. I'm gonna start saying that. That's my little
Hey.
slogan. At www.romeshouse.com. You can check out Rome DeCarlo on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? We out here.
Gotta do it.
Plug your book.
And again, check out Of Mics and Pens and Gods, other college courses
Yes.
right there on Amazon. If you're trying to check me out on Instagram, Beyond Your Definition, spelled just like it sounds, and BYD Productions.
Yo, and I am Poetic Lee, POETICLEE. It's me. Follow me. That's this.
Let's
Right
go.
there.
It's
What's
me.
that?
We
Follow
got the
Poet-
rhymes today.
Yeah, straight up like that, and we're out.
We out.
We out.